Howdy y'all, it's my honor to call to session the 13th session of the 55th Senate, and with that, we'll be now moving into the Pledge of Allegiance. For all those willing and able, please join.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With that, we'll now be moving into our land acknowledgement.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples.
This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native nations.
We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it.
As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice and recognize in our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
Thank you. With that, we'll now be moving into the swearing in of new senators and associates. If you're new, you can come join us at the front. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into the end. Oh, I was blind. That was my bad. I state your name,
I, Hera Hajra,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congrats. Awesome, thank you. With that, we'll now be moving into beginning roll call.
Speaker Reese,
Present.
Speaker Pro Tempore Lutz,
Present.
Parliamentarian Falbo,
Present.
Senator Eddington,
Present.
Associate Senator Price, Associate Senator Esquivel, Senator Miller,
Present.
Senator Buchel, Senator Chalk, Chair Monanti,
Present.
Senator Roberts,
Present.
Senator Rivera, Associate Senator Wilkin,
Present.
Associate Senator Cure, Senator Johnson, Senator Pada Perez,
Here.
Senator Dusterberg,
Here.
Senator Jameson,
Present.
Senator Taylor,
Present.
Associate Senator Long, Senator Grenier,
Present.
Senator McCorkle,
Present.
Senator Garnand, Chair Quesada Stoner, Senator Vega,
Present.
Senator Candelero,
Present.
Senator Leggett,
Present.
Chair Rivera,
Present.
Senator Flores,
Present.
Chair McLaughlin,
Present.
Senator Hanson, Senator Bachinen,
Here.
Senator Grant, Senator Corey,
Here.
Senator Bone,
Here.
Senator Mendoza,
Present.
Associate Senator Pratt,
Present.
Senator Hernandez,
Present.
Senator Simpson,
Present.
Officer Jowden,
Here.
Senator Frisky,
Present.
Senator Fayan,
Present.
Chair Gray,
Present.
Associate Senator Sinanis,
Present.
Senator Jama, sorry,
Present.
Senator Jeffries,
Here.
Senator Pickerel,
Here.
Associate Senator Grube, Chair Hill,
Here.
Associate Senator Harris,
Present.
Associate Senator Vogel, Associate Senator Markle,
Here.
Chair Gilroy, Senator Tornado,
Present.
and that's all I have. If you're just sworn in, you will be added to the roll call list next week. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll now be moving into consent agenda. Before we start consent agenda, you may have noticed on this week's agenda that we actually have like a sub thing on consent agenda for this week. This is because, as is included in our bylaws, consent agenda can also function as a means of just approving another item that's deemed a non-contentious by legislative cabinet during consent agenda. So when we're voting on consent agenda, we're also approving that the ASUSU Finance Department in turn also gets ratified. Does that make sense to everyone? Cool, yeah. With that, do I see a need to send to this agenda? Senator Taylor.
I have a couple of motions. First, I motion to remove the ASCSU rotational intern from the agenda.
Is there a need to send to this? Hearing none, that'll be reflected.
Second, I motion to put executive ratifications into confidence business.
This is new to me, give me a second to process what that means. To my understanding of the functionality of consent agenda in the context of something being approved through consent agenda, it has to receive no dissent. So with that,
There's two things. There's the ASCSU Finance Department intern, which is included in consent agenda as that sub-point, but then the executive ratifications, including the Deputy Director of Finance and the rotational intern was
Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, it'll also be reflected. Do you have another motion?
I do. I motion to add the Grants Day Remembrance Resolution to the bottom of new business.
Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, that'll also be reflected.
I yield.
Thank you. Is there any other dissent to this agenda? Chairman?
Motion to move 5525 to directly after gallery input.
That's the Trans Day, remember?
That's the trans day. Okay, awesome. Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, that'll also be reflected. Is there any other dissent to this agenda?
After gallery input.
Hearing is after gallery input, right? Awesome. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into gallery input.
Gorgeous. Everyone can hear me, correct? Gorgeous. Okay. First of all, before I start talking, if I tear up at all or I start crying, mind your business. Okay. Let me still 100%. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. If we have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Selena. I am the Election Engagement Officer, as most of you know. But today, I'm not speaking to you as someone from ASCSU, but simply someone as a student. As some of you may or may not know, I'm a military brat, but also not exactly. My dad, Arthur, was an Army sergeant and always wanted to be one. Ever since he could walk and talk, he dreamed of following in his dad and his granddad's footsteps. And so from the moment he turned 17 and talked to that recruiter, it was set in stone that he would join the Army. He served for 6 years, during which he met and married my mom, started the process of adopting my sister, then had me, and then lastly my brother. He only had 2 years left before he was killed in action in 2005 in Balad, Iraq, during Operation Iraqi Freedom. I was only a year old at the time, but even though I never really got the chance to know him the way that I wish I could have, I have come to know him through stories and through the stories that my family tells. Stories about his humor, his patience, and of course the love he had for being a dad, which is all he truly ever wanted to be. My mom was left to raise the three of us on her own, and she has been the strongest person I know. She has kept his memory alive every single day through photos, through stories, and through reminding us to be kind when life feels heavy. Everything we are today is because of her strength and the example that my dad had left behind. I wanted to take this time not only for him, but also any veterans in the room. Your sacrifice and willingness to serve does not go unnoticed and will forever remain a selfless act to me. You may not always see the impact of what you have done, but I promise you there are families like mine who remember, who live every day carrying that pride and grief. And to everyone else here who knows someone that's overseas or someone who's home right now, please do not forget to thank them for their service, not just because of yesterday, but always. I also hope that you take a moment to think of the men and women who are lost, missing, or have been killed in action as they have paid the ultimate sacrifice. I will leave you with one final message. As my mom, my siblings, and I continue on our lives without our Arthur, we ask that you think of one kind act a day, just like he did. It does not always have to be something grand. Maybe it's just something as simple as holding a door open, reaching out to someone who has been having a rough day, or taking a second to appreciate the people that you love, because they can be gone in an instant. Small moments matter, and they are what my dad had lived by. So thank you to all the veterans in the room. Thank you again.
Thank you to everyone who has served. So we wouldn't be here without you. So I really appreciate it. But something that I really wanted to talk to you about today was just giving out updates on the food drive. It was a beautiful experience to be able to see how many Rams actually showed up, and then the Fort Collins community. Overall, today we were able to collect 541 pounds of food, so they have been taken to Larimer County. And tomorrow we will be hosting the second day of the food drive. So it's going to be in college. It's going to be in the King Soopers at college. We'll be right outside again from 10 to 2. We appreciate any help. So if you want to keep sharing that keep sharing the link and the post, or if you just want to come and help volunteer and sit with us for an hour, 30 minutes, and just do homework while we keep asking for food for our Rams, we would really appreciate it. But I just want to shout out everyone who has been sharing, who has been showing up, and everyone's sweet words too. Just know we do have a Ram family, and I think today made me feel a little bit more better about being a Ram, and it just felt like a community, and I think I haven't felt that for a while, so it was just beautiful, and I just really wanted to share that with everyone, that Rams do care, and I know we might not see that every day, and especially with the work that we do, but there's a lot of people within our community that don't come to this space who are out there as well, so thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Amber Wright, fourth year student studying political science here at CSU. Shout out to everyone who showed up for the food drive, people who are volunteering, people who were able to donate. Very incredible work, and they're doing it again tomorrow, so be sure to go. I just wanted to come and give another update of free speech on campus. So I'll just go through and tell y'all what's happened since I spoke to you last week. But last week after Senate, myself and other students went and chalked on the plaza per usual. And it was power washed the very next morning, Thursday morning of last week. So that means some of the chalk that was put up out there lasted less than 12 hours, less than 10 hours, long before any students were able to see it, other than the odd person out at 1 in the morning. So of course that was very disappointing to see yet another instance of CSU power washing the plaza for no apparent reason. And so I rewrote some of the exact same messages that I wrote that day, in the exact same font, the exact same color, exact same place, maybe a little deja vu if it was the same worker coming by. But I wrote things like, none of us are free until all of us are free. I wrote melt ice. I wrote $350 million ballroom while children starve without SNAP. I wrote, we should all be Antifa, fascists are losers. So I wrote those 4 things outside of the main entrance of the Laurie Student Center. So I rewrote them Friday afternoon. You could also notice if you were on the plaza end of last week, it wasn't cleaned all that well, right? There were puddles of chalk out on the plaza. So if it's regular campus cleaning, it didn't look all that clean to me. I think it would have actually looked nicer if the messages had stayed intact, but that's just my personal experience, my personal opinion. And so I also included, when I rewrote the messages on Friday, wrote CSU erased these messages just 8 hours after writing them. So just trying to raise awareness among the student body, because now if you talk to students about free speech, more students seem to know these days. And I think part of that is because we are writing messages that say CSU is erasing messages. So it's getting the word out there. And I just want to share in that way it's working, because people are continuing to chalk. Administration is hoping that students get demoralized, right? You go out and see your art that you worked for at least an hour on is power washed. But it's easier to keep writing messages than it is for them to come out and continue to power wash. We can outlast them. It's easier to chalk than it is to bring out a power washing machine. And so then it stayed intact over the weekend. The messages from Friday stayed intact over the weekend. And then myself and another student have been coming early to campus the past few days so that we could see when the grounds workers come to erase messages. So this morning, grounds workers came at 6:45 in the morning. That was when they began to power wash the plaza. They came up to us chalking and said, hey, you might want to wait a minute. Give us about an hour, give us a little bit of time. We'll give you a nice clean slate. I was like, oh, thank you, appreciate that. That's not what I wanted. But they went ahead and power washed the entire plaza. We asked who instructed them. It was their superiors. It was a higher up in administration who has instructed them to wash the plaza twice per week. But there's no regular schedule. There's no certain days, which means that their periodic regular cleaning occurs whenever there are messages that certain people do not like out on the plaza, which is mainly leftist and pro-Palestine messages. And I know this because there are messages written from Turning Point USA still intact on a certain part of the plaza. If you go north, if you take the sidewalk north towards the transit center along the side of the Laurie Student Center, there's messages from Turning Point advertising their event with Shane Winnings last week, advertising their event for last Wednesday, and that has been intact since they wrote it last Wednesday. Meanwhile, the other messages have been washed twice in the meantime. And then I also want to point out, let me go ahead and read the actual policy for y'all right now. The 2022 policy about chalking, which we are currently under, says, quote, chalking is allowed only on the horizontal concrete ground, not on steps, paving stones, buildings, or walls, and must be at least 15 feet away from any building entrance. To prevent property damage, only washable chalk may be used. No spray chalk, paint, or similar materials may be used on university property. Violators may be charged for the cost of cleanup. That is the only mention of chalking in the 2022 policy, and that is all that it says. So keep that in mind as I share the next point. But there has been chalk outside the entrance of Clark C since last Tuesday that is explicitly against this policy because it is written on the steps and it is also written within a few feet of the entrance. It's actually the only chalk on campus that is against the current policy, and yet it has remained the longest because it was just for a class assignment. It's about AI and data transparency. It's not quite as political as the other messages, and yet that one has stayed. There's also chalk near library and other places. But then today, I'll note that I also wrote some chalk. I'm admitting that I'm breaking the policy. I wrote some chalk on the steps on the south. It's okay, they already know I have. On the south side of the Laurie Student Center, I wrote a message on the steps because I thought, well, if the one at outside Clark is still there, maybe they don't care if it's on steps, you know? They didn't seem to be enforcing it. So I wrote, in quotes, first they came for ...
I'd like a motion to extend the speaker's time by 3 minutes.
Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, I'll call Hammer.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all, thank you. So the message is, first they came for ... We all know how this poem ends, so now will you speak up? I wrote those on the that message on the steps this morning. And then I just happened to be there after class around 11, just standing there talking to a friend at the steps, and a maintenance truck was driving by, like one of those tractors, was driving by, the man was like staring at the steps. I'm like, oh, he saw it. Well, he was driving like east, and he did a U-turn and came back and parked, got out, and my friend asked, like, hey, do you need us to move? We were like, is he gonna like blow the leaves off the steps or something? He's like, no, you're fine, I'm just taking a picture. So he got out and took a picture of this chalk here at about 11 a.m. And just as I was coming to give a comment to all you lovely people, I saw that it was erased. So that was a chalk that was erased sometime between when I wrote it this morning, when I was there at around 11, until now. And they would have had to use like a bucket and a broom for that. So that was the chalk that was erased. So it broke the policy by being on the steps, and yet the one outside Clark is still there, even though it is also against the policy. So it's inconsistent. It's discriminating based on content. And that's my concern here, is that periodic cleaning is whenever it is convenient for people that don't like the messages. Because today, though some of the workers said that they were instructed to wash chalk that is vulgar, things like fuck ICE, and someone had drawn a guillotine that said, bring back guillotines, kill tyrants, fuck Trump, etc. But you don't have the right to censor speech that is vulgar. It's not in the policy. It's simply not allowed. We have our First Amendment rights. So I just want to say that right now, our free speech on campus is reduced to those colored puddles that you see out on the plaza frequently. And so with that, my call to action is, again, we can chalk more messages than they can erase. So people are going to chalk more tonight after Senate. I encourage you all to join if you're able to. At least grab a piece of chalk or two, and when you go to class, write a message somewhere on campus. It's hard for them to find all the messages and erase all of it. So just go and write something, okay? It can be anything, any issue that you care about, but go write something. And add dates to your chalk. I started doing this last week, so add like a little 11-12 for the date, just so we can see how long certain chalk stays. But anyway, that's my encouragement to you all, that we cannot let them pretend that this is just maintenance and keeping campus clean when they are actively censoring student speech. And as always, Palestine will be free. Thank you all for your time.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, that was so cute. Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm Karen. If y'all don't know, I'm the career retention officer. Obviously, coming to you as a student. Blah 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 blah. All that. I was actually not planning on saying anything during gallery input today, but Amber, you actually brought up something that I had found out over the weekend. Basically, I'm not gonna disclose like all information, but I was in talks with a couple of students, and I had actually found out that, I don't know how this happened, but one of the students I was talking to got into a group chat for LSC like facilities or management over the summer break, and I have screenshots of them purposely erasing a bunch of messages that say like stuff about like free Gaza, or like I know someone wrote like fuck Amy Parsons on them on the talking like on the sidewalk, but I have screenshots of people from the summer break of 2024 before this policy went in of them erasing messages about like the F Amy Parsons or like Free God. So I just want to like bring up like they are like, I think by the start of this year they did try to use the policy and like hiding behind that to erase and like censor a lot of messages that, because I think we've seen a rise in stuff against the university considering all things that they're doing to, I feel like, shut us down. But yeah, like the policy was not the start of them like censoring us. Like they had been doing that. Like I have the screenshots that like I can send around, but like yeah, like stuff is really crazy. But and another thing I do want to bring up that Amber also said, like Chalk, like do what you can, like do something little. Like the reason I even found out that information is because I'm that annoying person that always brings up politics in all my conversations. I know people hate that, but yeah, y'all, in this day and age, we need to be doing something. But yeah, like something little, like bring politics up to someone you might not talk to politics about, someone that might not know what's going on. Like little things like that really do make a movement. So yeah, just telling y'all that information because, woo! What the hell is this university doing? I don't really know, but yeah, y'all have a great day. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Olivia Frisky. I am a senator, but I'm coming to you as a student right now, and not a worker at the Safe Center. Let me underline that too. I'm sorry, I apologize. I wasn't here last week to deliver this news because I was sick. So, yay. I just wanted to give an update on the Dr. Becker situation that I discussed a few weeks ago. And plugged the GoFundMe. There is an update and I'm going to read it to you now. On behalf of, I don't know how to say her first name correctly. I think it's Nozifo. I could be absolutely wrong though. Family, we would like to thank you for your kindness and care in this horrible time. Your donations are being used to support Dr. Becker's family both here, that's a typo, but both here and back in Swaziland. It was with a heavy heart that we shared that Dr. Becker passed away this last Saturday with her husband Gabe and their son by her side. Her death is a tragedy and completely avoidable. As we mourn the loss of her vibrant presence from this world, we are also sitting under the immense weight of knowing how she was failed at every turn. A sobering reminder of the ways individuals, people, uphold and wield structures of violence which often result in tremendous loss. She is loved and will be greatly missed. Thank you again for your support. Once again, there's radio silence from the university, nothing being said. Hi to the university right now because I'm probably being flagged. And just another reminder that our institution is still very steeped in racism and this incredible injustice happened. Whatever you practice as far as spiritual, religious, whatever you feel, send good thoughts, prayers, vibes to her family. Their GoFundMe is still up to help for her funeral costs. Yeah, so reminder that, you know, it's not enough to just be not racist, you have to be anti-racist, and sometimes standing up, it means sacrifice, and there are people that helped and tried to sacrifice for her, and there are people who bowed to the university. So keep this tragedy in mind and rest in power, Dr. Becker.
Hi you guys, as you might know, my name is Miriam. I talked about this last week. I'm also a DJ at KCSU, and I just wanted to remind you guys that our DJ-a-thon is still happening. We have 3 days left, so tomorrow is our last day of 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. live programming. It's so fun. And then Friday is our lock-in, so we will have live programming from 7 a.m. on Friday to 7 a.m. on Saturday. It is crazy, it is so fun. Tune in, it's like actually the best ever. and support your student DJs and support local music, maybe even donate if you're feeling crazy. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have.
I'm just gonna go crazy. I don't have anything fully planned. I want to talk about more than the Trans Day of Remembrance. This issue is like super personal to me, go figure. But right now is a scary time to be trans. In the US, in the world, but in the US, and here at the university, included. We have to call for this, we have to call for support of the Trans Day of Remembrance, not because it was an option. It was our hand forced by the university. CSU has fairly continuously chosen to erase us. And sure, they might have a reason for it, but I don't know that reason, you know? None of us know the reason. We find out by surprise. They take pronouns from RAMWeb and Aries, making it harder to be yourself in the classroom. They took the ability to change your preferred name, which I'm under, the 18th is when those will be back. The statements of support for trans students through the Health Network removed. Gender-neutral bathrooms come under question, maps of where the gender-neutral bathrooms are. It continues, and it continues secretively. And it sucks, and it hurts, and slowly I feel like I'm fading out of the university, fading out of importance as a person, as a human. And, you know, trans people are people. We are not debates. The trans debate is a debate about my humanity, and I resent it, and I resent the phrase, and I resent the activity of debating trans people and trans people's ability to choose who they are and how they express themselves. I take great issue with the idea that this is a partisan issue. I am not a partisan issue. If you choose to make me a partisan issue, you suck. You are the worst. You are harming me intentionally. They are trying to get rid of us. The House Appropriations Bill for Labor, Health and Human Services and Education specifically states, and I will paraphrase, that medical institutions that supply gender-affirming care to anyone, not just children, anyone, will have funding holes. Federal funding can't go to those things because we are the enemy. Why? I hope, is it a Lex? I hope you'll support that Lex. I hope you'll support trans people. And I hope you'll support me.
Just a quick 30-second update. Thanks to all of y'all for speaking up in gallery input as always, and I'll make sure y'all can proceed with the rest of your session. Thank you to everyone who showed up to our previous Title IX training targeted at getting all of y'all participating in Senate. Happened like a month ago. I'm offering one last session next week, November 19th, 5:05 p.m. to 6:05 p.m. precise about that because it's happening during cabinet's time, and I just want to give them a few minutes for their updates at the beginning of it. If you didn't make it to our last Title IX training offering or to the one that I offered more towards judicial and front desk, please make sure you attend this. If you've already completed a Title IX training for a different campus commitment of yours, things like admissions ambassadors, other departments have their own Title IX trainings, just let me know and I'll make sure you're down on our list as someone who is trained. As a volunteer and therefore a representative of the university, you are required to complete this session just to make sure you're aware of your capacity as a, quote, responsible employee. I know not all of y'all are paid. Most of y'all in this room are not paid. And so it can feel weird to be called an employee, but when you're volunteering, you're showing up for the university and you're showing up for your peers. And it's an important power difference that you have there as a representative of the students, that you are a responsible employee and that you're making sure you're reporting things through the proper channels or using resources as you choose to, and making sure to disclose to students when you talk to them that you're a responsible employee. So this training is a really good way to learn how to do all of that. Make sure you're on the same page, and I always make sure that when I host these trainings, we have a representative from SAFE, so there'll be someone from SAFE and someone from Title IX talking about those resources. Thanks, y'all. Yes.
If we did one wait, do we need to complete one every year, or if we did one
This is an annual thing, so every academic year, if you completed one in the spring and you have intentions of completing another one in the spring, that's great. I just won't be hosting any for ASCSU, so definitely talk to me if this next opportunity is not going to work for you, because I can make sure we get you on a list and we find out if there's other departments hosting theirs that are going to be open to other people, but it has to be once per academic year. Any other gallery input from private journals?
There you go. Okay, am I allowed to go again? I'm sorry, y'all. I have another point. I really should have wrote something down, but my mind's just screaming today. On the note, yes, on what Claire was saying, support your trans friends, support the trans community. Like, please, like, if you're not, like Claire said, you suck. Like. Kind of on that note, I want to clarify a couple things that Claire actually brought up as a student. But basically, if you don't know, I am a Associate Center for Pride. I also sit on PLC, which is our Pride Leadership Collective. Not council anymore because they don't want, they don't want any gay terms next to really important terms because that scares them. But basically, Pride was told that we are not able to officially hold a Trans Day of Remembrance ceremony, which we have been holding and hosting for the last 20 years here on campus. We were told that we are not able to host it officially. We are not able to advertise it officially just because it would be flaunting it too much Trump's face, which, how much can we comply out of this kind of thing? Like, what's the line? What's the line we're gonna be drawing? Just what I'm wondering. But anyways, basically on kind of like that back end, I know a lot of us, because some of us don't, not some of us, but a lot of us aren't trans in this room. Like, that's honest about it. So a lot of us aren't familiar with some of the stuff going on in that realm of things. But if y'all don't know, this is like a lore talk, but basically on September 25th, the Consumer and Protection Branch located in the Department of Justice was dissolved and replaced by the new Enforcement and Affirmative Litigation Branch, which is the EALB. The change has shifted the original mission of the CPB. CPB basically before was to combat faulty pharmaceuticals made to combat the opioid crisis that we see right now. It was about protecting consumers in that process, making sure there's that economic security. That was the job of the Consumer and Protection Branch. I mean, it says it in the name. The new Enforcement and Affirmative Litigation Branch has two main jobs. One of it is to be, this summer, leadership from the Civil Division, which is
what the EALB falls under within the Department of Justice, released an enforcement priorities memo directing those in the branch to prioritize enforcement and investigation that advance these following practices: combating alleged discriminatory practices such as DEI and other diversity-related policies, and ending anti-Semitism, preventing provision of gender-affirming care, blocking state and local sanctuary laws, and revocation of citizenship for those who have entered illegally. Just because you might not struggle with the discrimination that trans individuals face doesn't mean it's not happening. This is happening at an increased level from our federal government, and it's a huge problem. I really do educate you all on, not educate you all, I really do urge you to educate yourselves on the history of trans individuals in America, especially, but also within the government. There's been so much obstacles and hardships that they've had to face, and honestly, when I talk to other people about it, they really don't know unless you are coming from that identity. And so yeah, I would urge you all to educate yourselves, and yes, please support this Lex. Please! But yeah, that's all I have to say, and yeah.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Enoch Mananti. Some of you have known my face. I know this face has known my face for way too long. But today I am just coming to y'all as a student, feeling more empowered to speak based off of all the previous testimonies and statements said. So bear with me if I'm a little bit nervous and if I'm a little bit rocky. But as stated, students care about these issues. This isn't the first time these issues have existed, and they probably won't be the last. And it is our job as decent human beings, generally, to actually care about these issues. Why is it that the university can have this say that Pride cannot hold Trans Day of Remembrance and it has to fall on us? Why is it that policies and actions done by those in upper administration and or the same department can eventually lead to these terrible things that can eventually lead to death? These actions should not be justified and should not be even complied with. As stated earlier, it's not enough to be not racist, you have to be anti-racist. And it's also not enough not to be transphobic, you have to be anti-transphobic, if that makes sense. I really hope so, wording's weird. You have to, if you care about these individuals, if you have decency, have to be anti-oppression, anti the death of these individuals. Because make no mistakes, actions like these do domino. People will die. People have died. And it's only going to get worse unless we actively fight against it. All right, I yield the time.
I actually forgot another thing. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I have a bad memory. I'm sorry. But this last one I say, I'm truly just saying as a student. I might be reaching a little bit. Well, I mean, but I don't know if a lot of you are familiar. If you go look on Amy Parsons' Instagram, you can actually see a lot of photos of a particular individual. This particular individual is actually named Lauren Boebert. If any of you know a United States representative for a district here in Colorado, and what are these photos? It's Amy Parsons and Lauren Boebert. Besties, it seems in these photos, you know? I mean, if you're posting a girl on Instagram, I'm assuming you guys are at least some type of friends. You might be asking me, what's the point of bringing Lauren Boebert and Amy Parsons up? Why does this matter? Well, actually, as we all know, there was a lovely Halloween. And what did Lauren Boebert choose to dress up as for Halloween? Does anyone in the room know? Anyone? Oh, do you seem to know? Do you want to answer? I'll yield to Gavin right this second.
Let's just say it was
There
really,
was 3 seconds left.
it was really racist.
3 seconds left.
We're out.
Please.
We're out. Also, be careful of ad hominem, please.
Senator Bowman. I motion to extend gallery for 2 minutes. Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing dissent, we'll go ahead and vote on this via voice. All those in favor of adding another 2 minutes to gallery, please say aye. All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions? Thank you, yes. Oh, did someone say division? Was that a serious division? That was not a serious division. With that, the ayes have it, and you have 2 more minutes.
To elaborate on what Gavin said, Lauren Bower and her husband actually dressed up as a Mexican woman in an ICE agent with a sign she was carrying around that said, Mexican word of the day. And then it was the 2 dots, I forgot what they're called. Juicy, tell me if, juicy, ice, and then it's like cutting out the last part, but they're walking around like publicly flaunting this, like in who's posted up with this girl? Our best president, Amy Parsons. Thank you, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. With that, does anyone else from gallery wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll be moving into Lex 5525, a call for ASCSU support in Trans Day of Remembrance ceremony continuity. That's what you do.
Hello, everyone. So, for those who aren't familiar with our procedure, since our speaker and our speaker pro tem are currently involved in the bill, I'm going to utilize the power given to me under Article 4 of the bylaws, Section 2, subsection A, subsection D, that allows the presiding officer to appoint a senator or associate to fulfill a position for a certain amount of time. Unfortunately, Enoch, I see your hand there. You are technically listed as an endorsement on this bill, so that would be as a conflict of interest. So, do I have any volunteers? Otherwise, I'm going to pick Hayden. Jared? Excellent. I'll ask for a brief moment of patience as I acquaint our new parliamentarian.
I think I can figure it out.
Okay. I want to say real quick, though, we have the edits. Here. Conference business, 10 minutes presentation, 10 minutes Q&A. Okay. All right, with that, actually, where's the mic? Read off the title.
I have to do this. Where is the bill?
It's I can pull it up for you.
Lex 5525, a call for ASCU's, I'm assuming that should be CSU's, support in Trans Day of Remembrance ceremony continuity. And oh, yes, I entered the abstract too. This is harder than I thought. This Lex aims to document ASCSU's support and garner financial aid for the continuation of the efforts previously prescribed to the Pride Resource Center following their unilateral agency in hosting the annual Trans Day of Remembrance ceremony having been revoked. You have 10 minutes.
What he said.
Hi, everyone. First, there's been already some discussion on this tonight, but I wanted to give some more context than what has already been provided. As was previously mentioned, CSU has had a Trans Day of Remembrance ceremony for the past 10 years, at least, at minimum. And it has been no-co's T-door ceremony. With an executive order put out January 20th, 2025, surrounding gender identity and biological sex, CSU is not publicly supporting a T-door event. Keyword on publicly supporting, in order to avoid a potential lawsuit. In writing this also, there will be a community event right after this TDOR event, somewhere, I don't know where. But in writing this Lex, we worked on it with numerous campus staff and faculty to get their input, historical context, as well as kind of just make sure it was accurate and viable. In this Lex, we are asking for $2,500, which reflects the general amount spent in past ceremonies. We do not think we will need this much. In fact, we think most of this will come back here, but we are asking to give us a buffer, to give us some breathing room in case something happens, who knows. Additionally, and finally from me, we do plan to expedite this Lex, but since it is a financial piece of legislation, we do need approval from certain members of ASCSU, and we have received those signatures or those written consents. If you don't believe me, I can send them to you, but believe me, I have them.
Some of what makes this legislation kind of crucial is it being a Lex. It's not just a bill, it's not just asking for us to move money around. Additionally, it's using the precedent set by 5417 passed last year and Lex 5418 to build a pathway for ASCSU to be able to better support CRCs in the case that they aren't able to fully do what our CRCs are typically able to do in the face of this federal administration. Additionally, it hits on the transparency note that we've heard all throughout this semester. We don't know why, and we have no obligation to hide why that we don't know why. It also goes to support things going back from last year, 5407, Resolution 5409, Resolution 5519, reference, shout out Clay Girl. It builds to that paper trail of we're asking for accountability, we're asking for reason why, we're asking for student autonomy, we're asking to be able to be a partner in shared governance with the information that we don't have.
One thing I did want to bring up is a lot of the reason that we are asking for 2,500 and we're saying that we might not use all that. We did just learn that we have to put on this event last Sunday, and Trans Day Remembrance is next Thursday. So to plan an event that big in this short of time is a lot of effort for us, to say the least, and we weren't able to come out with the exact description of what exactly we're gonna buy, the exact price of this. Obviously, money that will not be used will be coming back to Senate, but yeah, that is why we are asking, and why this Lex will be expedited. All that is because next week is the event. So yeah.
Senator Taylor.
I motion to expedite this Lex by unanimous consent.
Do I hear any dissent?
Dissent.
All right, hearing a dissent, we will do this via voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Any abstentions? It is the opinion of the chair, fallible as I am, that the ayes have it and this legislation is expedited. Barring that, and barring any further presentation, we now move into a 10-minute period of Q&A, beginning with the first race plaque after I'm done talking. Senator Corey.
Thank you. When were we made aware of this January 20th, 2025 executive order, President?
January 20th, 2025.
Okay, why is this bill coming to us now?
Because we learned about it last Monday. The ramifications of this executive order, specifically towards Trans Day of Remembrance, was not made public to students, at least till last Monday, in which it was shared to us and numerous other students that CSU would not be publicly supporting a ceremony, and so it has fallen rapidly to students to fill in the niche left by CSU administration.
All right, so we met in this chamber 2 days after you are aware, last week.
Unfortunately, as per how legislation usually goes through, to get a piece of legislation like this, elects with a good amount of stakeholder interest involved, having to interact with the director of the Pride Resource Center, having to meet as a coalition, I think it was last Sunday, or Pure People? Yes. All of that stuff takes a lot of time. This was able to be done in what is really like a week and a half. This legislation was sent in, and it hit the floor as soon as it could hit the floor.
All right, so you waited 2 days, then started working on it after the meeting?
No, Senator. We started working on it immediately. However, the necessary procedures to write such a piece of legislation, it was not feasible to get something done in that period of time. As mentioned, this is a financial piece of legislation, and as such requires signatures from the ASCSU advisor and the director of finance. Along with that, we had to meet with numerous people on campus to ensure the feasibility and the accuracy of this legislation, and we had to go through a stakeholder input process, as every piece of legislation should, that we did it in the soonest amount of time possible.
All right, can you give me some details on what the $2,500 of our constituents' money is going to be used for? Because you said it could be anything, you were kind of a little vague, so can you give us a little more detail?
Yes, in edit we plan to make once we go into committee of the whole. It is estimated around $600 for a room reservation, $200-ish in...
Do you mind if I kind of ask you little questions? What room, where?
One of the ballrooms.
Ballrooms here?
Yes, in the student center.
All right, and this is a community event, like anyone in Fort Collins,
Yes.
Northern Colorado can come?
Yes.
Why does it have to be on CSU campus?
Because
It's kind of similar to what we do with BSOF. When BSOF has a event that they're hosting, one of the criteria that they look into in terms of us giving money for them to do it is whether or not students reasonably can access it. So BSOF events, 99.9% of the time, are held on campus. It's the same kind of theory with any other campus event.
All right, are you worried that...
I will add a quick point of clarification that CSU typically hosts lots of events that are open to the Fort Collins and Northern Colorado community, not just CSU students.
You indicated there's a community event after this one. What's that?
It is a Trans Day of Remembrance ceremony held in Old Town.
Okay, so why can't we just do that?
To continue the tradition of CSU holding one.
I think that event that's gonna be held later in Old Town is for the community. This is for student community here at CSU, considering that we do have a large number of trans population here. In fact, even one sitting in this room.
Right. So are you concerned, just a couple more questions. I mean, are you concerned that we lose our financial aid if we brazenly violate an executive order? No, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I mean, it exists and it's there. I mean, just for tradition and just to do 2 events instead of 1 event, we could lose our financial aid. The federal government has that power. Does that worry you?
Speaking within partially my positionality and the knowledge that I have from that, there has been no communication had to me on any end of whether or not ASCSU supports a partisan piece of legislation that we would be at risk of losing any type of funding. If ASCSU is at risk in that way, that's part of the why that needs to be communicated. Additionally, I'm sure Ellie could touch more on this. Has administration at all been opposed to students taking on this action with ASCSU?
CSU administration has given officially no guidance on how to do this. It has just been suggested that students take on this initiative. And additionally, ASCSU is an RSL. We are distinct from the university. If the federal administration were to come after us for this piece of legislation, they would not have the legal grounds to do so. Additionally, ASCSU is a fee-funded area, so university does not fund us, students fund us.
We understand the ballroom at our school is taxpayer funded. I mean, this
And
entire property is.
as I'm sure you remember, a few Thursdays ago, there was a vigil here on campus that was also funded partially by the university, that was deemed a partisan event, that had a very big impact on campus. However, we're essentially using the same logic. The CSU, the administration cannot regulate what student events are held under freedom of speech, as well as neutrality, political neutrality, and the fact RSOs are not controlled by the university.
I agree with you. I'm not asking about the university regulating us. I'm asking you about the federal government that gives us money, then takes that money away. That's what I'm asking.
They do
Of
not
course,
have the grounds to do that.
It's a direct violation of an
They do
executive
not,
order.
the funds we are using is not federal funds, first off. We are not violating the uses of any federal funds. And additionally, again, ASCSU is a registered student organization. There is precedent that groups like us, student groups, are allowed to conduct independent programming, and that the university, God forbid something happens, will not be held liable.
Point of information, also the ballrooms, anyone, not just CSU, but other entities outside of our campus can rent these rooms, and it doesn't equal a sponsorship of what is happening in those rooms from the university.
Correct.
So if you don't get the 2,500, is this still gonna happen or not?
What do you mean?
If we take out the 2,500, because I think the financial sponsorship of this with student monies is the concern of my constituents and probably of the federal government. If we get rid of the 2,500, can you still go forward with this?
We don't have money. It's the
For
easy
what?
answer. To hold the event, we have to reserve the room, we have to pay for staff, we have to buy things. We are not getting any support from CSU administration. We are, as I think is implied by CSU administration not publicly supporting, they are not financially supporting this at all. All of the money that we are getting for this event will come from this piece of legislation.
Thank you. No further questions.
Do you yield?
Yes.
Senator Frisky.
Point of order. It's been brought to my attention that this was not sent out in the weekly email.
That is not true.
We'll wait for the people at the front of the room confirming that. Was it not sent out within?
I did not fact check, I will verify.
It was there, but I couldn't see it because of the way that it was formatted, and I do wish that the newsletter would have been updated on the.
It was an email.
Yes.
It wasn't updated.
Point of clarification as well, the current newsletter is not on the website at all.
Someone let me on.
I yield to.
Point of clarification from the speaker. If you check the ASCSU newsletter, it leads you to a sort of a collective file that has all the contents of the newsletter, including this piece of legislation.
An additional piece of clarification. So there were issues with the website in its entirety this last Monday. That's why it was sent through an email. Everything is in that email that still follows our documents in terms of it being sent out within the 48 hours, either by the newsletter or the newsletter. So we should be perfectly in line with accessibility requirements. When things like that occur in the future, I can definitively send an additional notice in Teams saying, by the way, the newsletter isn't working on the website. I can 100% do that, but in terms of our regulations and our procedures, we are in line.
Point of personal privilege, will we do the OneDrive situation in the future, or are we gonna go back to how it was before?
So kind of like I said, it was just a website issue for this week, not typical. All of the websites were acting kind of weird to my understanding. The OneDrive was just how to send it out within the 48 hours. If you have any commentary on what could be better within the 48 hours that isn't the website, feel free to email me on any of my emails.
With that, Senator Frisky.
Yay. Okay. This is a kind of a general question first. To kind of address something from before. What is the average time it takes for someone to write a bill? Or a Lex specifically?
I've done it in one night. I've done it over the span of several months.
I did the one night with Ellie. Legislation legitimately can take any amount of time that you want it to. I have pieces of legislation that I've been working on for over a year. I have a piece of legislation that I've completed tonight.
Unfortunately, we are out of time for Q&A. I would entertain a motion for further time to be added, though. Senator Menante. Chair, sorry.
I motion to extend the time by 5 minutes.
Is there any dissent to that? Hearing none, 5 minutes will be added.
It truly depends on what information you need to make legislation. The goal isn't rush legislation. It isn't legislation that takes 10 years to write. It's good legislation with the information that we need.
Okay, perfect. That's what I would assume. And so second question as far as so Lexes need 3 votes, correct? Wait.
No, that is a common confusion. If a Lex is making an amendment to our constitution, it then requires 3 reads. But if it's just bill, resolution, duo, core, it only requires 2 reads.
Period. And then my other question is, has there been, you know what, I'm not even gonna ask that. I was just gonna, okay, I guess I'll ask it now that I've opened up a can of worms. But, has there been any, legal action taken or attempted to be taken, to your knowledge, of any universities where it's a student-funded, basically what we're doing, for a ceremony that's similar, supporting trans students? Because I don't know of one that has actual legal grounds.
I don't know of one, and I think it would be deeply problematic if one were to arise from ASCSU. I don't think that that's a very likely situation based off of what I know.
Okay, perfect. I yield my time.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to enter committee of the whole. I'd like to dissolve into committee of the whole.
Real quick, Senator Friske, you yield?
Yeah.
You're done with your line of questioning? Okay.
Yeah.
With that, we have a motion on the table. Do I hear a second? Second. All right. With that, we'll do this via voice vote. All those in favor of dissolving into committee of the whole, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? It's the opinion of the chair that this motion passes and we are now dissolved into the committee of the whole. Motions.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I have a few things to add. First, I'd like to add an S between C and U in the title. I think that would be beneficial. That is not in the email I sent you.
Sorry.
Yeah, right there. Beautiful.
I would categorize this more as a grammatical or procedural error, and therefore I think the parliamentarian might do that on their own volition.
Disagree.
Point of order, the authors do have the right to edit their legislation as they see fit.
And I do not disagree. With that, I will add Senator Bone as a sponsor. That is in the email I sent you. Director, to the endorsement list, Director Jaliscia Luna, Senator Carly Jeffries, and Senator Claire Pickrell. Is there a general consensus people want a paper sent around the room? Okay, cool. I got one earlier. I foresaw this. With that, and then I would like to move right after the 10th whereas clause. I sent you this in the email. Adding a whereas clause after number 10 that reads, whereas the asking amount of $2,500 is a reflection of the precedent of running the event in years past. This amount includes the price of room reservations, AV equipment, AV technicians for the LSC, and estimated cost for decorations. $600 will be utilized for LSC expenses, and $200 are expected to be spent on decorations. Buffer funding was added to the amount being requested in case of a need for security arises, semicolon and comma, and then, yeah, changing the whereas 11 to 12. And those are all my edits I wanted to make.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem Lutz.
Good job.
All right.
Can someone add Noah Groove to the list wherever it is? Thank you.
Got it.
Cool, thank you.
Excellent. With that, from our previous placard list, although I'm sure it may no longer be relevant, Senator Frisky, did you have anything else to say, or is that just regarding endorsements?
Oh. Just regarding endorsements.
Was everyone who raised their placard just regarding endorsements? Okay. Seeing that, is there any other edits, potential edits that the Committee of the Whole would like to make? Speaker Pro Tem Lutz?
I'd like to add Senator Noah Eddington as a collaborator.
Let that be reflected.
I have no more edits. Anyone else have any edits? Once? What?
Question that's not related. Noah is Warner, right?
Noah Groove, yes, Associate Senator for the Warner College of Natural Resources. Go Warner. I believe I was on 2. 3. No. Okay, do you have something?
I'll have a motion.
Okay, I have no more edits. Does anyone have edits?
Does anyone have any more edits?
What did I say? Oh, sorry. My bad.
Senator Taylor.
I motion to rise out of the Committee of the Whole.
Excellent. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we'll do this via voice vote. All those in favor of rising out of the Committee of the Whole, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions? Hearing none, we now re-solidify into the Senate from the Committee of the Whole. And I believe we were on discussion and debate further regarding that, and given this is an expedited piece of legislation, let there be 30 minutes, as is typical for a second reading. And we'll begin with first raised placard after I'm done talking. We'll start with Chairman Nanzi.
I'm pretty sure the consensus amongst all of us is that we want to pass. Is there, if that is not, please speak now, or raise your hand, I guess, since you can't speak. All right then, I will yield then, and
Specifically to Senator
to Senator McCory, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, and I appreciate you removing the suspense there. I think the point spread on this game is pretty broad. I'm kind of an underdog here, so I'll be brief. I have constituents in my college who are devout Muslim, devout Christians, Orthodox Jews, people of all different sorts of attitudes. This is a very controversial issue in our school. Probably not in this.
Might I regard the germaneness of this?
I'm justifying why I'm voting no on this legislation, arguing against it. Is that all right with you? Okay. So as far as the people I represent, they are not unified on this like we are in this room. Okay? They just aren't. And to force this through last minute, we could have at least heard about it last Wednesday, and so we could process it and deal with it as a Senate. First time I hear about this is half an hour ago. I'd like to talk to my people about it. That's what we do. That's what senators do. It's a controversial thing to celebrate this, and I'm not against it myself, but it's, and I'm not in favor of the administration forcing stuff down our throat like it always does. I hope people agree with me on that. I was completely in support of this free speech stuff that we did because the administration was in the wrong. And by the way, the administration was in the wrong in telling us about this on last Monday, but we could have at least talked about it Wednesday in a deliberative body, which is what we are. The money part is a problem for me. We pay student fees and $2,500 to rent a room and a couple projectors when there's a, maybe not identical, but similar Trans Day of Remembrance downtown, and we know that's going to happen, and that's fully funded, and we're not funding that. So that's why I'm voting no. There are a lot of other reasons. I don't want to waste your time. I can see the feeling in the room, but that's why I'm voting no on it. And it's really just a constituent thing. I have people that are against this, and it deserves a lot more discussion and respect for those views and those people that I represent. So thank you for listening to me and hearing me out. I yield.
So, given the fact we have speakers who were on the list prior to Senator Menanti and Senator Corey. Yes, Senator Taylor?
I'm on the list.
Now you are. Yeah.
And does it yield back to me or does it just?
It yields back to you.
Okay, good. I will yield to Director of Finance Sophie Nerman, Madaman, I'm bad with names, okay? Because, she will speak on this as well.
I just wanted to speak to the financial aspect of this bill. Given the expedited nature, it needed my approval in order to be expedited, and I wanted to speak to the reason that $2,500 was the decided on amount. LSC is expensive. I see LSC invoices every single day, and it's incredibly expensive, and it's hard to predict how much that's going to be, especially given the rushed nature of this bill. And so that's why this number was agreed upon. If they were to underestimate and the price was over, like legitimately they could not pay for it because they only have so much money to allocate to this bill. And if they were to underestimate, like it would just not get paid for. And like at that point, who's gonna pay for it? And so overestimating is always better than underestimating because then that supplemental funding that they don't end up using goes back. So that's why $2,500 was agreed upon, and for an event of this scale, I think that's rather conservative. But yeah, that's what I'll say about that.
And it is yielding back to me again. And I will say this one final piece about this before I yield. Respectfully, you have trans individuals in all of your constituencies, and an event like this does show you care about those individuals as well. While our constituencies might not be overarching conglomerates, it's our job to still care about each and every one. And with that, I yield.
Excellent. Going through the list, I think I had.
I'd like to make a motion first.
You can't as a parliamentarian.
Can I make it as a senator?
You can say I would entertain.
Can someone make a motion to move Bill 5522 to the next item on the agenda? I have a guest speaker waiting outside and have been waiting for like an hour.
I motion to do what you said.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Okay, let that be reflected, but moving back to the speakers list, I think I had. I think I had Chair Hill next, followed by Fay and Frisky. Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that were brought up as potential issues for this bill. Firstly, it's my understanding that this bill was presented to the body 48 hours before Senate.
It was sent out in a abnormal but correct process, yes.
Yes, okay. And secondly, I just wanted to say that, being trans doesn't mean that you're not Christian or you don't believe in any other any other belief systems. I think it's a little bit short-sighted to think that to just completely cut that out of your consideration. And also, this isn't hurting anyone. This is not causing any harm to our community. So that's why I personally support it. And yeah, I yield.
Excellent. Next on the list, Senator or Associate Senator Fayan?
Senator.
Senator Fayan, yeah.
I'm gonna yield to Senator first.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, I think that we shouldn't be, first of all, debating about trans lives. They are valid, and I think that there's a lot of people across the board who support trans people, not just who you would assume were the usual suspects, quote unquote. There's many people across religions, across ethnic backgrounds that do support trans people. Also, if this event does not fit what you want to see, don't go. This is for a specific group on campus and for people who support that group and want to use it as a place to remember, to mourn, to celebrate the lives of trans individuals. And if you're not interested in that, or you, for whatever reason, don't believe that should be happening, then you don't go. I don't go to business events that are on campus because I'm not a business major. I don't go to other events put on by other political groups on campus, which I will not name, that I don't believe in. So do the same thing. Let this be a place of community. This has been a place of community through many different presidencies. This has been a place of community that has existed for a very long time and was fought for. And just because one administration comes in and says, well, we may pull funding, we have grounds that this will not affect our funding. And if it does, then that means that we're in a lot of trouble because literally everything is going to go away. Everything. My seat, your seat, like, that's really, really bad. So, let this event happen and celebrate it, you know? Prove that you support trans lives because they're just that, they're lives, they're people on campus. And we as CSU need to stand up and say that we support them even when the university is going to back down. Because we speak for our constituents and I know my constituents absolutely want this event to happen and will be there. I'm going to yield back. Are you ready? Okay, period.
I think I just wanted to talk, and I could be completely wrong on why this Lex is going through. Giving credit to, there are religious groups that majority might not agree with the lifestyle of trans individuals, but this has been an event that apparently has been going on for years. And the fact that it was taken away seemed more of an attack on students rather than a money-saving agenda. And going off of that point, for the individuals that might not agree with this, given that CSU gave not an unknown amount of money to the Charlie Kirk Memorial, whether you care or not.
Point of information, it is $34,000.
Thank you.
There you go.
And renting the Canvas Stadium, I would just assume costs maybe slightly more than $2,500. I could have that number incorrect. So I think basically what I'm just getting at is that while you might not agree with this, there's been way more money going to a person individually who I feel like a lot of people would have been personally harmed by their words. And so this is more of just reinstating something that has been a tradition for students because this university is all about supporting its family, and I feel like the trans student population makes up quite a few of us who have been personally affected by the administration that is in office currently, and is continuously feeling the effects of what has been happening. So I guess personally that is why I am voting on it, and I'm not voting against you. I just kind of wanted to address your points. I yield.
Thank you. Moving down the list, Chair Rivera. No, Chair Rivera.
Actually, I think I'll yield, I'll yield, because I think there's been enough said, and I want to state real quick that this school has been deemed a democracy school, so everyone has the right to believe what they want to believe, but at the same time, I don't think we should be denying anyone the opportunity to hold a vigil, and I think we have to just, I don't know, this is a tough, this shouldn't be up for debate. I think it shouldn't be up for debate, and that's what I'm gonna say. Thank you.
Excellent. Further down the list, Senator Eddington.
Hi, team. So this event, I mean, obviously I'm in favor for this bill. I'm collaborating on it and help planning the event. It's a blast to plan something so last minute. And I would just say that this event is primarily for student community members who want to speak about their experiences. Those are the speakers we've been inviting, are student members who maybe are trans or have trans relatives who wanted to speak about what they're going through. So it is important that it's being held on the campus for them accessing it. Great bill, good job writing it so quick. I yield.
Further down the list,
Hi all, you already heard me talk this evening, but I'm back doing my senator duties. I think it's important to note that we are responsible to represent all of our constituents. And $2,500, you know, seems fairly minute compared to the amount of harm that it will do if it's not held here. Sure, there's 2 events here, but the harm that it will cause to the trans community and to our community as a whole is significantly more than I think we can quantify in dollars. Allowing this to happen is not negating the opinions of those other people. And I use opinions in a very, very disgusted light. But allowing an event like this to happen does not negate those. But it does represent the voices who are not being represented. We represent all of our constituents. And that includes the trans people in the graduate school, like me. I yield.
thank you. Senator Leggett?
Hello, I just want to say I'll be voting yes, but I would like to say that even if, well, I speak for my constituents, and even if one person or one friend of a friend of a friend of someone in my constituents wants to go to this, I want it to happen. Personally, I want it to happen, but I can't really speak on for myself, but yeah, I hope you all vote yes, and I really like this, thank you. I yield.
Senator Taylor?
I think by now all of the opinions have been laid out on the table, and we're just kind of going in circles, and I don't think anybody's changing any mind, so I motion the previous question.
Second.
Only clarification, the parliamentarian cannot second. All right, hearing a second, we'll do this again by voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those please say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions? All right, with that, we'll now move into a period of voting. Chair Hill.
Motion to vote by placard.
All right, hearing a second and a dissent, we will vote on whether or not we'll use placards by voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Point of inquiry, can we ask why the dissent?
Can we do secret ballot?
Point of order, there is a motion already on the table.
I motion to open 2 minutes of discussion and debate on this motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, any dissent? Okay, so,
I will say my motion.
Thank you.
okay, with the motion rescinded, with the dissent made to using voice vote to vote on whether or not we use the placard vote, we will then do placard vote to whether or not we'll vote on placard vote. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your placards.
Point of information, this is on.
29.
This is a vote on the voting method, not the legislation itself, yes?
Yes, voting method. All right, you can put them down. All those opposed to this method of voting? It's 2, I see, 2. Anyone else? Okay. Any abstentions? Okay.
That's what I got.
With the vote of 29 to 2 to 2, we'll vote on whether or not this legislation passes via placard vote. All right, to be fully clear, The motion now on the table is whether or not we approve this piece of legislation to be sent off for signature and to have its will done. So, all those in favor, please raise your placard. And please keep them up.
Okay, I got 30.
Please vote them down. All those opposed, please say nay. Oh, yeah, sorry. Nay. Okay. All those opposed, please raise your placard. You can put them down. Any?
Put it down.
Yeah. Any abstentions? Okay. With a vote of 30 to 1, this legislation passes.
Oh, I do want that, yeah, thank you.
That's for later, to help you remember.
I really don't like the broadcast, but
And since I am now not the parliamentarian, I'd like to motion to move the ratification of the Deputy Director of Finance to the next item on the agenda.
Was the last motion already reflected on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Second. Is there any dissent to this motion?
What's the motion? To put the Deputy Director of Finance as the next thing.
No dissent? Hearing no dissent, it'll be reflected. And we'll now be moving into the ratification of the Director of Finance, oh my goodness. Deputy Director of Finance.
Is that the next motion or the motion after
Jared just had so we're gonna do the ratification and then we're gonna do the 55
Yeah, just to clarify, did my intern get approved? No?
It was dissent and consent agenda.
So that means he didn't, so after him, can I motion to add him right here?
He's already added. So
Where is he?
right after this one.
Right after Ray?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, hi everybody. I think I know all of you. If I haven't met you officially, my name is Sophie Nanaman. I'm the Director of Financial Operations for ASCC this year. And today we're here to ratify our new Deputy Director of Finance. I'll kind of let him give you a little bit of an introduction, but just as like a preface, our previous Deputy Director of Finance, Carter Tullio, he decided to step down to focus on school, and so we did a very thorough hiring process, and we got Ray. He's awesome. He's really smart. He's really good at his job. So I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi everyone, my name is Ray. Like Sophie said, I am a third-year economics and statistics major. Not much else about me. I'm an econ tutor on campus, so visit the Econ Tutoring Center if you need help. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll now be entering a period of Q&A for our candidate by first raise placard after I'm done talking. Chairman Monty.
Okay, I'm gonna break script for once. I trust Sophie. Most in the previous question.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move into a period of discussion and debate. If you could take a step outside. Okay, with that, we'll now be entering a period of discussion and debate by first raise placard. Chairman Monty.
I'm pretty sure, as stated, I trust Sophie. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but yeah, most of the previous question.
Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, this candidate is approved. Additionally, point of clarification. So, did anyone notice that there wasn't much conversation on those candidates? Right, there wasn't much. That's what consent agenda can be utilized for. So if there's an item that you feel won't be contentious, we can add it to consent agenda. Legislative cabinet can add it to consent agenda rather than going through the whole process inside.
Coolio, if we wanna go ahead and bring them back in. I state your name,
I, Raymond Capel,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congrats.
Chair. I motion for the, sorry, can you scroll down a little bit? Oh, sorry. For the,
Rotational intern.
yes, that one. For the
It's not the rotational intern was taken off completely off the agenda. Are you referring? Yeah, to Walter.
Yes, Walter. Can we move that to the next or item on the agenda, please?
No, it was removed from consent agenda. Hayden Taylor. Fair. Is there any dissent to this? Hearing none, the next item we'll move into is the ratification of the financial intern.
All right, guys, thank you. I appreciate your support. This is Walter. He's our finance intern for this year. He is a freshman. He's studying business and concentrating in finance, and he's gonna be working on Seed Grant. So if you are in a new student organization, he's your man. He's the one you wanna talk to. But yeah.
With that, we'll move into a 10-minute period of Q&A.
Wow, there looks to be no questions about this candidate. I will move to previous question.
Are there any questions for this candidate? Seeing none, and with that, is there any dissent to the previous question? Shocker. We'll now be entering a period of discussion and debate. If you could go ahead and take a step outside.
And since Enoch's not here, I will also move to previous question to this one too.
We haven't entered discussion debate yet. We now enter discussion and debate. Senator Roberts.
I moved to previous question. He seems like a cool guy.
Would. Is there any dissent to moving to previous question? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into a period of voting. Initially, this would be by secret ballot unless someone wants to motion for something. Chair Hill?
I motion to approve this candidate with unanimous consent.
Is there any dissent to is there any dissent to the ratification of this candidate? Hearing none. Intern. I state your name,
I, Walter Nelson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado, set forth by the Constitution of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Congrats, Walter. Thank you. With that, we'll now be moving into Bill 5522, Growing Food Security Funding Extension.
Bill 5522, Growing Food Security Funding Extension. This bill allocates $25,000 from the Senate Discretionary Fund to extend ASCSU support for the Growing Food Security Student-Run Farm. You have 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk much on this because we have the person in charge of growing food security with us here tonight. But yeah, this bill is an extension of a couple previous bills, not an extension, but a renewal of a couple previous bills we passed funding this project. It's a pretty impactful project on campus to provide food for Rams Against Hunger and training for agriculturally minded students. So I'll turn it to James to give the presentation, which, Gio, can you pull up the presentation from the weekly newsletter?
The financial journal?
It should be a PDF that says ASCSU Growing Food Security, something like that.
Ask for patience for a sec.
Scroll up. That one.
Thank you. Everyone, I'm going to be relatively brief. My name is James Larson. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Atmospheric Science, and I, along with other graduate students, run the Growing Food Security Project. So Growing Food Security is essentially a student-run farm. It started up in 2020 during the pandemic when financial issues, food security issues were just exacerbated by the pandemic. Some students out at the RDEC Research Institute in Northeast Fort Collins kind of banded together, pulled together some extra seeds they had from their research projects, and in the first year they grew 1,000 pounds of food for the local pantry as an initiative to give back, build community, and support our RAM community. After that first year, they thought this is a good idea, we should expand this, and since then we've been growing about 10,000 pounds of produce per year. We bring in students, faculty, and staff from around the university together. It's an entirely volunteer-run initiative supported with student funds from ASCSU, with the sole purpose of growing food for the pantry here on campus, as well as, if you can go to the next slide, please, as well as a big education opportunity. We are a large agriculture school, and this is sort of the premier student-run project that CSU now operates. Funny enough, though, the institution of CSU is not sort of running this themselves. This is us as students recognizing that we want more hands-on experience. We want people to come together. We want people to feel like they're a part of a community. And so us as students have been pushing this project forward and just driving it entirely ourselves. And so I'm here tonight to sort of petition that we can renew some of the funding, which helps cover a lot of our operational costs and a lot of the land use fees that are associated with growing out at the RDEC institution. Yes, and so with that, sorry, the presentation has a typo, the bill does not. So we're seeking $25,000 over 2 years, not 3, which comes out to $12,500 per year. There is a line-by-line itemization within the bill if you are curious about that, or I'm happy to go into more of those details in the questions. And you might be wondering, what is the benefit of all this? So I mentioned we grew about 1,000 pounds in that first year. We've been growing about 10,000 since then. And then in this year, this growing season, we had a really excellent leadership team, and we are incorporating a lot of efficiency upgrades to our operations. And we doubled production to 20,000 pounds of produce. You can think of this as like 60,000 servings of vegetables. We're growing a really wide variety of crops such as zucchini, cucumbers, bell peppers, tomatoes. Herbs was a big thing this year. If you can go to the next slide. And you can also think of this in terms of dollar amounts, like what is the return on investment that you are getting as ASCSU when you give us this $25,000? Well, this year alone, we estimated that the produce that we grew and donated, if you were to compare that to similar rates you might find at a local farmer's market or let's say like Whole Foods, King Soopers, our produce that we grew this year and completely donated to the pantry is worth about $100,000. A big chunk of that is coming from herbs. There's been some other initiatives to try to bring some higher value items to the pantry, not just canned goods, but things that people really appreciate and getting a lot of use out of. So we've been growing things like rosemary, thyme, basil, and people at the pantry have been really enjoying this, and they've been able to take this home and cook really healthy and enjoyable meals as well. Just making sure that we have time for questions, I'm gonna kind of leave you on this final slide with a statistic. This is actually the out-of-date number. They've done another survey this year and they've found that about 60% of students who go through a degree program here at some point during their tenure are gonna experience food insecurity. And that could be just like at the point where if you miss your next paycheck, you're gonna be really struggling to put food on the table and just having the like stress hanging over your head, right? Things like that are considered food insecurity. And us as a project, we're really bringing students together in this volunteer initiative to try to fix this issue. It's really embodying this idea of Rams helping Rams. So yeah, with that, I hope you can support this bill and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Joy Hill.
Hi, I just want to say as an AmeriCorps alum, where all I did was work on an organic farm, the amount of not only like career experience if you're in an agriculture related field, but also just life experience from spending time outside, giving back, especially working around food is really fulfilling and beautiful. Yeah, and I fully support. And is there any other debate? Or
There are more
okay.
people on the list.
I yield.
Senator Faye.
I was just wondering what your previous funding was. I'm sorry if I missed the slide and where that funding came from, if it was still.
So the majority, did you want to take this? The majority of the funding has come from ASCSU over the year. I believe we've now had 5 years of funding from ASCSU. We're currently in the 5th year that we will wrap up at the end of this fiscal year. We've also solicited donations from Nutrien, the agricultural company. We get discounts from local agricultural suppliers as well that are non-monetary but still contribute to our operational expenses. And if anyone is willing to take on the initiative, we would love to talk to CSU administrative officials so that we don't have to keep coming back to you year upon year to keep asking for more money. We would love for this student farm to be really like ingrained within CSU as an institution.
And for your specific question, I believe the exact number in the last bill was $23,000, 180, I think.
Yeah, the amount we're asking for is essentially the same amount that we got last time, just with inflation.
Next question, how would students be able to get involved in this if this is something you wanted to like integrate more into CSU?
Yeah, so, oh wait, sorry, can you repeat that last part?
I just said for students, since you're wanting to integrate this more into CSU.
Okay, so currently what we do is we advertise around campus, putting out flyers. We have departments send out emails to first year, all the students really. And so that's the bulk of how we get students involved. We also volunteer lecture in some first year courses to try to get students integrated earlier than later. Yeah, that's the bulk of how we get students. We also have some professors, Addie Elliott, she makes it not a requirement, but I think students get extra credit if they come out to volunteer at the farm. And that's like one initiative we're working on.
Okay, I yield.
If there are no further questions, this piece of legislation will be, oh, sorry, Senator Corey.
Thank you for being here. Can you talk a little bit about organic methods, whether you use pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we did not use any pesticides in the last year. That was a big goal that we've had over the last few years. It's a goal that we want to continue in the future. When you don't use pesticides, it means you have to use a lot more hands-on labor to pull all those weeds. There's just a lot of natural weed pressure. I'm happy to go into these details really more in depth with you. Yeah, in the last year, we didn't use any pesticides. It's not certified organic. Certified organic has to be organic, I think, for like 5 years consistently, but there were no pesticides used this last year.
Thank you. I yield.
There are no further questions. This legislation will be sent to University Affairs, DEI Affairs, Budgetary Affairs, and Internal Affairs. Why not all of them? I don't know. With that, we will move into a guest presenter, Senate Financial Training.
You can go. Okay, thanks. Do you wanna do this tonight? Up to you. Is there something next week?
I don't know. And then it's on the spreadsheet.
I'm tired, and I'm sure many of y'all are tired, so we're gonna delay this yet again.
Alright. With that, we will move into executive reports. Executive reports, Will, anyone? Anyone for exec? Okay, cool, we have a few.
Hi guys, I'm speaking on behalf of Yesenia for the Director of Marketing. She has a few announcements for you guys. First, she wanted to let you guys know that if you want an ACSU polo, they are back there by her office, the Finance and Marketing office in the back right. Just go back there and find your size and feel free to take one. And then she is also scheduling a media day, so more information on that is coming up soon for you guys. I highly recommend going there. These are excellent for headshots for your LinkedIn. So when she releases that date, I would say go. She's also going to release a form for new merch. I don't know if you see, I don't think anyone has it on, but there's new like green zip-ups that say ASCSU. And she's gonna release either a virtual form or a paper sign up, and she's gonna tell you guys that. So if you guys want any ASCSU zip-ups, fill out that form. She wants to make sure like she's getting it for people who are actually gonna want it. And so those are the big things. And then I can't find the other parts of it, but I'll have judicial reports, so maybe I'll come back up.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'll keep this quick. I'll try to speed run it. I'm sorry that I'm just now walking in. All of our directors and members of Office of the President just left our cabinet leadership team to talk some things that are happening in the executive, so thank you. A few things. I got to present at the ACUI conference this last week on November 2nd. This was put on by the Laurie Student Center, and it's a really unique opportunity because ACUI is like the student union group that we are, or ACUI is the student union group that we're a part of. Esteban knows all about this from his work on the Laurie Student Center governing board. It was a really unique opportunity, and we had a lot of folks from ASCSU host different sessions, but we had specifically a lot of student leaders, not only from CSU, but institutions in our region here. And so I got to present two different sessions, one being a panel with some of our student leaders from all the way across campus, from academic disciplines all the way to the Marketing Association. So it was a really unique panel. Melanie also served on that panel, and it was a really great time. We had some really great discussions, and that room was so lively. The second thing is I got to partner with our friends in Inclusive Excellence for the symposium this year to present a session during the CSU Inspire, like that keynote speech. So I got about 8 minutes to tell a story of kindness and how we can be better for one another. So those are two things that happened presentation-wise. Future Forward, spring semester, I'm excited to be underway planning our Campus Leader Series. We have a few folks who are going to serve on this committee in the executive, and I'm also welcoming partnership from our other branches as well. So anybody who would love to serve in these conversations to plan not only how we outreach to our student organizations, but how we get them involved. And I think I see some faces about like what is the Campus Leader Series. feel free, email me. I love to talk about it. I don't want to spend too much time on it right now. I apologize. And then next week I'll be up here with one of the new interns I've onboarded or that we're currently onboarding. His name is Andrew Notberg, and he's serving as the athletic partnerships intern. As you know, as of recent, we have had an uptick in our partnership with the Department of or Division of Athletics, and so I'm really excited to see how that comes to fruition. But Andrew is going to be a really exciting addition to the team, and it's going to strengthen ASCSU as a campus partner, as we've done all year, to make sure that we are serving cross-functionally, not only for students, but for our community. So thank you all, and I'm super excited to work with you all. If there's anything that I say tonight that you want to be a part of or want to request more information about, feel free. All right, thank you all.
Any other executive reports? No.
Only 2 seconds to pull it up. I also put it in the Teams, but I thought I would read it here just so y'all are reminded. 2 seconds. Okay. Evening with your elected officials is confirmed to occur December 4th from 6 to 8 p.m. The RSVP form will be coming soon. There's also free food, shout out. So highly recommend you put that on the calendar. Also feel free to provide any feedback for the event with the same feedback form I keep pushing every week. It's on the Teams. Also, LSAB, Legislative Strategic Advisory Board, is on its way. Applications for the general one is gonna open later this week, and then that's theoretically if everything goes out the way I want it to. And then also speak with Brooke for more info on how to do LSAB as a legislative branch. As a legislative branch, there's 3 positions open for voting members, but she's kind of in charge of delegating all of that. And then I highly recommend that you read the monthly reports that both Sean, Ava, and I have put out. That was sent out in the weekly email, but I also linked it on the Teams announcement I gave out. I just wanted to say that like our department is really resourceful, and we all have like a really diverse skill set that even expands past Gov Affairs, and so we'd love to help collaborate on any initiative we can, and then you can also read about the current initiatives that we're working on there. And then lastly, Day 43 of the shutdown, also coincidentally the last day theoretically. Yesterday the Senate voted to reopen the government. Today the House just revoted about like 30 minutes to an hour ago to reopen it, so now it's just waiting on the president's desk. He just signed it, shout out Annalise. Yeah, and then I put that link on the Teams also. That's an AP News link that gives live updates about other things too, not necessarily just like relating to the shutdown status, but also like SNAP status, other things that are going on in the government regarding shutdown, like that was affected by the shutdown. It includes things like Congress people getting sworn in, things of the sorts. It's a lot, and it's really great. AP News, shout out. C-SPAN, shout out. Shout out's over. I'm done. Everybody, I really appreciate your guys' support in getting my people ratified. That is very, very helpful. I thank you a lot. I just have one quick thing for you guys. BSOF is hiring. So we have 1 seat available specifically for someone on the in the legislative branch or the judicial branch. And then we're hiring more than just 1. So we're hiring 4 people as of right now. But one of them is specifically dedicated to a member of the legislative or judicial branch. So if you have any interest in joining BSOF, I highly recommend that you apply. It's a lot of fun. We meet every Tuesday, 5:30 to 7 in the conference room right there, and we get to see presentations from various student organizations across campus. It's a really good way to see what's going on campus and support all of your communities and see kind of what your constituents are doing and just support people with funding for their events. But yeah, if you're interested, I really recommend that you apply. It's a lot of fun. And there's a seat specifically held for one of you. So, thank you.
Are there any additional executive reports? Saying none, we'll move into judicial reports.
Alright, I'll keep this brief because I'm also going to be back 2 more times for y'all tonight. One thing is that elections committee applications close on Friday. I would highly encourage you to apply. It's super fun, and if you have any friends that are interested in getting into the space, that's a really awesome way to get involved. This is just a reminder that I'm gonna give as a blanket statement from now until March 11th. There's no discussing of campaigns or candidacy in the office in any capacity. That's technically qualified as using ASCC resources if you're in the office, and if any member of judicial or elections, including Selena, hears that, that will be a violation as soon as elections start, so just don't do it. And then a final little plug to follow ASCC Elections on Instagram, and I will be back with you shortly.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah. I'm an Associate Justice for the Supreme Court, and I'm going to be giving today's judicial reports. So to start, we had Pumpkin Palooza on October 28th, so it was a few weeks ago, but it was a joint effort with APAC and ASCSU, so I want to thank everyone who came out. It was a great event. We had pumpkin painting, we made s'mores, had a fire going. I also specifically want to thank people from APAC because they helped set up, stayed throughout the whole event, and helped clean up, so thank you. The other announcement I have is that updated office hours for all court members have been added to the ASCSU website. And if none of the times listed work for you, then you can reach out to our emails, which are also on the website, and schedule a one-on-one. And then one last announcement. Job descriptions have been submitted for the 2025-2026 school year for the entire court. That includes Chief Justice, Deputy, and Associate Justice positions. Thank you all.
Hi guys, first I just want to thank you guys for always being so welcoming when the associate justices come up here. It can be pretty nerve-wracking coming up here, and a lot of them, this is their first time doing it, so I'm very thankful for you guys for that. I will not be here next Wednesday. I will be doing Thanksgiving break early, and I will also be participating in the policy challenge right upstairs, so wish me good luck, and hopefully I can come in and out and give reports and help with you guys on like presentations and stuff like that. But if not, my Deputy Chief Justice, and if the job description bill gets passed, then, or gets seen, then my Deputy Chief Justice will be presenting that, and she knows all about the jobs. But yeah, so just have grace with her while she's here presenting to you guys and doing judicial reports. And then I also want to give an update on Title IX. I believe you guys had your training first at the beginning of the year. But one thing that was changed in the Supreme Court, Title IX, was that we figured out that there was a huge gap kind of in between the court's role and then Title IX's office. And so we clarified that and made changes with the Title IX office, our internal procedures. So now it says very explicitly for any Chief Justice after me or any Justice after me to see that the court does not handle any Title IX issues. This is extremely important. Like if you go to any justice on a Title IX issue, they are a responsible employee who's going to report it. And so that is not something of our jurisdiction. However, we did also go back to the fact that like sometimes things can be reported to Title IX that just don't meet the threshold of what they would consider it. And they don't want it just to go dead because there's no communication back to ASCSU. So we've also closed that gap. So if it doesn't meet that threshold, that will come back to ASCSU, back to the court, and can be heard as an internal complaint at the discretion of that person, of course. And so that's one of the biggest things. And then also just want a reminder that the court does oversee all Senate acts, which includes your bills and your lexes and anything you guys participate in, especially in your roles as senators. So with that said, specifically with some of like the bills that we heard earlier today, that is something that the court is looking into, working with student legal services, and making sure that as ASCSU we're protected, as you guys are doing what you guys can do, that we are the ones looking behind and making sure that nothing is being crossed and that all of our I's are dotted. So if you guys want any updates on that, you guys can always talk to the court, but it is something that we are doing and actively meeting on. So if you guys have any questions, please email me, come to my office hours. That virtual link that's on our website, I get pinged to my phone immediately when someone joins that. It is active 24/7. I will join if someone joins it, even if it's not in my office hours.
So please use it to you guys want, or my email. Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll now be moving into legislative reports. Just to double check something, Felicity, were you able to give your report? Awesome, coolio. I'm sleepy and I still have to present another bill, so I'm not gonna say anything tonight. As always, my email's open, my phone number's open, all that fun stuff. Ellie.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to give a few quick updates. I'm working on a million pieces of legislation currently. I hope to have most of them done after break. I think they're all really exciting, and I will reach out if I need help from anyone in those regards. I meant to give this last week, but we skipped reports last week. November 1st was the 41st CSU ACES powwow here on campus. It was also coincidentally my third year as the volunteer coordinator for the powwow. And I'd just like to shout out to ACES for holding such a wonderful event. It was definitely the smoothest I've seen it ever go, and I had a ton of fun. I'd also like to do a special shout out for Senator Mendoza and Associate Senator Pratt for their fantastic efforts in organizing as well as leading and helping me and telling me what to do during that event. It was a ton of fun, and I thank them a lot. Finally, Claire and I are still going to probably too many meetings surrounding policy procedure at CSU. If you want an update of who we've talked to, what we've talked about, please just let either of us know. And if you have recommendations for who we should talk to, please also let us know. We've talked to a good deal of people, and it's been a ton of fun. That I yield.
I have nothing to say. Thank you all for sticking with this, and I'm always available should you need it.
Okay, with that, we'll now be moving into committee and caucus reports by first raised placard. Terminology.
Caucus met this Monday. Actually had a student there. Y'all should have been there. Y'all missed it. The student had lots to say. Come to caucus. I yield.
Thank you. Do you have any other committees or caucuses? Chair McLaughlin.
Let's keep this quick, because I'm leaving as soon as I'm done eating dinner. Just a quick financial update for all of y'all, since I couldn't give my presentation for the 5th week in a row. The current remaining total of the Senate discretionary fund is $75,402. The current remaining total of the legislative cabinet discretionary fund is $1,927. And the current remaining total of our fund, or of our reserves, is $81,656.40. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Do you have any other committees or caucuses wish to report this time? Cool. With that, we'll now be entering Senator reports by first raised placard. Chair Rivera.
I'm so sorry, I was supposed to do this during executive reports, but I'll make this very fast. As Senator Liaison for BSOF, I wanted to give everyone an update on the behalf of the Board for Student Organization Funding. To this date, BSOF has allocated $97,591 with 46 cents and has actually paid out $7,897 with 48 cents, leaving a remaining balance of $77,408 with 54 cents from our annual budget of $175,000. We are on track with allocations and continue to receive and review funding requests on a rolling basis. We have currently supported 16 student organizations, and I can give the names and events if anybody would like. But besides that, I just will make sure to keep updating on that BSOF budget.
Thank you. Senator Eddington.
Hi everyone, happy late Veterans Day. So this week in ALDS we have events going on that maybe you guys want to attend, or maybe you want to tell your constituents about, if they're, like ALDS type constituents that I don't see. So tomorrow, Thursday, November 13th, we're doing a Veterans Resource Fair from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Friday the 14th, we're doing a CSU Student Veteran Association barbecue from 4 to 6 p.m. You gotta RSVP for that one. If you go to the ALBS Instagram, there'll be links to it. And then Saturday, November 15th, this is a big one. ALBS the annual ALDS Military and Veteran Appreciation Ball from 7 to 11 p.m. It's gonna be pretty cool. You gotta RSVP for that one too. That's all. I yield. Happy late Veterans Day. Now I yield.
Thank you, Chairman Alti.
Hey y'all, so straight from the back office, they hosted their curl conversation and I got this lovely bag full of hair products. Y'all missed out. But besides that, that event went really well. A lot of turnout from folks. And then tomorrow they will be holding their roller skate night. It will be, and if I remember the times correctly, from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock. There will be transportation provided to get to the venue. So if you like roller skating and or black people, you should go. I yield.
Thank you, Chairman Alti. Senator Fiske.
Okay, quickly, there are a few events at SAFE coming up. We've got on Tuesday, November 18th from 5:30 to 7, we have the nutritionalist workshop. We have a nutritionist, oh my God, coming from the Kendall Reagan Nutrition Center to talk about trauma-informed workshop about nutrition accessibility on campus. It's also our Reimagining Healthy Masculinities Week. And we have our final event tomorrow from 5 to 6 in the Morgan Library. And that is I'm He and Me lecture by CSU's very own Thomas Gallegos, the graduate coordinator in journalism and media communications. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm still got mucus. I'm sorry, I just said that on the mic. And it's now officially on the record. I have the weirdest record in CSU history, or in ASCSU history, I fear. Okay.
The minutes reflect that.
And then we also have the winter clothing drive going on. This is through December. The drop-off locations are Student Service Building 112. And this is just any winter clothing to be donated. I yield my time.
Thank you. Senator Leary.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to talk about a few SDC events. So tomorrow there's the Dinner and a Show yearly event and they're gonna watch Hook and I'm also gonna be there if you need a friend. It is from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. and I think there's going to be food provided. And then the Ramlink sign up also asks for any allergy information, although I'm not sure if they can still take that into account since it's tomorrow, but we'll see. And then I know that the APAC event is at the same time, but I did encourage you to attend one of them, if not both, somehow. And then also, Committee for the Disabled Student Accessibility, we get student funding from student fees and we review projects. If you are interested in joining, I highly encourage you to email either me or Justin Dove, and I can just move you over to Justin and get you on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Biggerell.
Hi, I don't have any events, but I wanted to offer a bill resolution in Lex, but it's hard. It's hard to figure out where to start, so I wanted to offer that if there's something you're passionate about and you want to turn into a bill, resolution, or Lex, let me know and I'll be more than happy to show you my process. It might not work for you, but we all have to start somewhere.
Thank you, Senator Mendoza.
Alright. Hi everybody, it's Native American History Month. If you didn't know, you should Venmo me $20 for my month. But it's been for the past, 12 days. We do have a couple of events going on. They're on the CSU NAC Instagram page, so definitely check that out. But tomorrow we are collaborating with the Aspen Grill. They have a special menu for us, so if you can, if you want, if you're available, check that out. It looks pretty good. They got, Pueblo pork roast. I don't know, that sounds pretty good, but I can't go. They also have bison chili, so if you want to check that out, that would be really cool. On Tuesday, November 18th, we're actually hosting someone who is world famous for hoop dancing. His name is Tony Duncan. We're gonna do a little meet and greet. But there's gonna be a luncheon at 3 to 4 p.m. in Long's Peak Room, LSC 302. You have to RSVP for that event. RSVP for that event, good lord. Yeah, and then the meet and greet is at 6:30 to 7 p.m. in the Native American Cultural Center. Yeah, so you should definitely check that out. Everybody is welcome. All are free to RSVP. And then sorry, I'm blank. Yeah, November 20th, we're doing a harvest dinner for Collins Senior Center. It's from 6 to 9 p.m. I think that's limited space, so you might have to RSVP, but definitely check that out. Also, everybody should totally come by to the NAC, to all the CRCs, sign in, give us your numbers. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Leggett.
Hello. I wanted to tell you all that next week on a Wednesday, the College Council of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences is hosting an event with EMS Club. We're gonna have canes. I know that's what you all care about, but it's also a CPR, showing how to do proper CPR just in case, as well as a stop the bleed demonstration if any of you are interested. And yeah, that's it. I yield. I don't know if I have to, but I yield.
Thank you. Good job, Max. Chair McLaughlin.
2 more things I forgot. One, on that same note, the EMS Club has started utilizing their funds that we allocated last year, so that's exciting. We gave them a big chunk of money to help out on campus. And 2, touching on Claire's point, if you're writing a funding bill, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help and give you advice on formatting, good numbers to go off of, things like that.
Thank you. With that, does anyone else wish to give a senator or Senator Leggett?
I forgot, it's at 5 p.m. I don't know I said that, but 5 p.m. next Wednesday.
Coolio. If you could also write something in the Teams.
Yeah, I will.
Awesome. Are there any other senator or associate senator reports? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into competence business, into old business, starting with Bill 5518, edits to the ASCSU elections code. Any edits to the committee?
That's not the one.
No?
That's the second bill that I have tonight.
Yeah.
Do you have any edits from the committee?
There's one in committee, there are a few that I made.
If they could have
Do you
accept all the edits that were made?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to do. Okay, with that, we're gonna go ahead and enter this piece of legislation. First, do the authors accept all the edits made in committee?
Yes.
Awesome. I would, with the knowledge that there are additional edits that we want to make, would entertain a motion to enter committee of the whole.
I motion to enter committee of the whole by unanimous consent.
Not dissolve?
It is late, I motion to dissolve into committee of the whole by unanimous consent.
I'll count that as a second. With that, is there any dissent to moving into committee of the whole? Seeing none, we'll enter committee of the whole. Does anyone have any edits that they'd like to make to this legislation?
I think I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I need to read them to you? The ones I sent you? Oh boy. Okay.
Just to be safe.
In the first therefore clause, taking out the word resolve to just have it say therefore it be it hereby enacted. And then under definitions, bullet point R, switching the order so that Speaker of the Senate is before senators. Definitions number R. Letter R. Putting Speaker before senators. And then under T, taking out the double space before enrollment. Point of personal privilege, can we zoom in?
Yep.
Thank you. And then under DD, there's a double space to be taken out as well. Voting period. Yeah. Okay, under Article 6, number 5, taking out that attendance at Senate orientations is not required for senator candidates.
It's gone.
Great. Under Article 7, number 4, that bullet point is there twice, so taking out the first time. Yep. Straight up.
Oh.
And then under Article 8, number 5, section A, changing elections manager to elections committee. And then right before Article 10, it says Article 10 a second time, so taking that out. Thank you, Hayden Taylor. Okay, then under Article 10, number 3, section C, changing it to first through third failures. And then after category 1 violation, changing that to fourth failure. Just fourth. And then changing it to the fifth failure as a category 3. And then also adding a section, and then the fifth failure is category 3, so changing that number to fifth. And then adding a sentence at the end of that that states all failures after the fifth shall also be considered a category 3 violation.
The fifth failure.
You do the same format as that one.
3 or 4.
There's no 4.
Yeah.
And then under number D, adding subsection I that states, you ready?
Wait, adding a new subsection, replacing that one
New subsection.
at the top of it.
Yes. If the campaign's designated liaison does not approve media within this time, comma, or if the campaign needs media approved sooner, comma, the candidate may reach out to the elections manager for approval.
No. Yeah, remember to here you go. This is great. You can do your
And then under E, subsection II, adding a comma at the discretion of the elections committee to the end of that sentence. And then under number 5, in that parentheses at the end of the list of internal entities, adding an et cetera.
Except, oh yeah.
And then, under number 11 of campaigning, so that same section, right before Morgan Library, or after Morgan Library, could take out the shall be prohibited. Good. And then under number 14, section D, subsection 3, editing that, exceptions may be jointly granted in writing by the elections manager and ASCSU advisor if.
In writing by the elections manager and the ASCSU advisor.
Yes.
I might have missed it. Did you get the one in section 9 of that?
The capitalization?
And adding elections.
Right.
Did we do that one?
The same article, number 9. Yeah, thanks. Senator Taylor.
Most recently edited. It was 14, right? Yeah, exemptions may be jointly granted in writing by the elections manager and the ASCSU advisor if blocking is required to ensure the safety of the party.
And then Article 11, Section 12, subsection C, removing the as the presidential, vice presidential scenario.
Did you get 19 of the section above that?
That was a committee edit that I believe I approved.
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, figured out whatever.
And then Article 12, number 15, subsection A, removing however the court may not modify the nature or amount of any fine imposed. And that is all. Thank you all so much.
Quick, can I ask if Hayden sees this edit in there?
We're still in committee of the whole though.
Hayden, do you?
Yeah, it's on. And do you see your edit reflected in the document? I just want to be absolutely sure. In the one sent out in the newsletter, do you see it reflected?
What?
The DEI edit that we made. Committee.
Which one was that?
The real promising one.
Just want to be absolutely certain, and since we're in committee of the whole.
What was the edit in committee? I apologize.
It was about role.
And may escalate to expulsion of the discretion
Yes.
of elections committee. Yeah, that's in the weekly email.
Sorry for the sidetrack, just wanted to be sure, yeah.
There was 2 other edits that were suggested, and the first one was that in Article 10, Section 2, subsection D, adding another subsection that says candidates shall not utilize campaign accounts from previous campaigns in any way for campaigning. And the second one, I'm just listening, so I'm gonna edit these. Deleting Article 10, Section 2, subsection A, subsection I, that in the case that a campaign does not wish to create a unique campaign media page, the primary account used to promote the candidate will be considered their campaign page. So these are 2 more contentious issues. Social media is something that we have gone I don't know, since August. We have talked to a lot of stakeholders, been so much that we started our own committee called Elections Leadership Committee, and we meet bi-weekly now to discuss this. And there's really just no right way of going about social media. I don't think there's a wrong way either. I think this is just something that whatever we need to do, we need to be clear on. I think that being in committee as a whole to express these opinions about the social media policies and what we would believe like would best represent a fair election, but also being fair to that social media is a part of campaigning now. I do think this is, as you're right, as Senate to deliberate this and go through this and have discussion. I don't think that under this bill that is filled with many performer updates and other edits that just need to be made for updates is the right bill for this one under Emily as the author, but can be made in future as a bill that can change that content. Are there any questions about that?
So would you not accept edits of those two that were just mentioned?
Yeah, I think as of right now under Emily as the author, as elections manager, going through this code to make it reflect as best for the committee and having a fair elections, this is just something that is gonna have to be made with the students' input and voice, not necessarily under elections manager.
Sorry for clarification, for the second, in the case that a campaign does not wish, does that, can you clarify that for me? My brain is so slow today, I'm so sorry. But, or can I can ask my question and then maybe from there, so this.
Can you turn off your mics? Thank you.
So does this mean that the person running can use their own account to, right? That's what I'm reading? I'm so sorry, y'all. My concussion has really been like not letting me do anything, think properly for a while now.
Yeah, so this was a discussion that we had for a long time, and the reason that we put this in there originally was we want, if someone chooses not to make a designated campaign page, that there is some page being held accountable. And so that was kind of the rationale behind it. So if I were running for office and I chose not to make a page, if I have a page, be it myself, be it my mom, whoever really is a huge fan of mine, that is putting out all that media on my behalf, that would be considered your designated page so that there is a page held accountable.
I think my concern on that, and you don't have to take it, but I mean, if someone has 10,000 followers on their account and the other opponent only has like 5 followers, like, I don't know, I don't think there's a fair, yeah.
I totally agree that's an issue. And I don't know if that's something that we can totally solve with this. I think the thought was the goal of having accountability kind of outweighed that to us when we first made this edit of having some page that's held accountable. Do you want to talk?
Yeah. Okay, great. Just to be like completely transparent with you guys, as it stands, like right now, you can post on your personal page whatever campaign media you want to post, whether it gets checked or not. When this got brought into question, it's a lot of it has to do with free speech. It has to do with, do you have a right as a person to post whatever you want on your personal page, and really can ASCSU as an organization dictate what you post or not? And so I think that it just becomes a more complicated question, and that was kind of our idea going into this, that it kind of has to be all or nothing. When we try to meet in the middle and we go from either, okay, you are making a campaign page that has never been created before on the first day of campaigning and everyone is starting from scratch, or you're allowed to post on everything and you're allowed to have highlights, you're allowed to have reposts, but the problem is that when we're not clear on in between or we're in the middle, that's when violations happen. And so it kind of really goes back to the point of like, what is an election violation? And the point of a violation is that it is making the election or the validity of the results not true. It's making the election an unfair result. And so we really need to trace back, like, is something like having your personal page post, or if we do require them to make a campaign page, but they're not, like, they don't have to post on it. They can still post on their personal as the election code stands right now. So now we just have a campaign page with 0 posts, 0 followers, and they are still posted on the personal. Either way, I guarantee you everyone has kind of brought different concerns and questions on this issue. Everyone has a point, everyone has an opinion, everyone has a stake in it. I just don't think it's something that, if there's really no strong opinion either way, or there's so many strong opinions, then I think it is something that we should talk about in committee as a whole and bring up in a bill specifically for that, attacking that issue with your guys' opinion and committee input on that issue. And getting a vote on that versus the 1,000 edits in this elections code bill, that's more for getting a strong base for ahead of elections. I yield to Hayden.
I do intend to write that legislation so that we can do that, and so we don't need to talk about those couple of things in committee of the whole now, and we can keep discussion on this legislation. I yield back to you.
Chair Quesada Stoner.
I'll yield for redundancy, but Hayden, I would love to be on that. I yield.
Speaker Reese.
I was wondering if we could review Article 10, Section 14, subsection D, subsection 3.
Slow it down.
Sorry, my bad. Article 10, Section 14. That's mostly scrolling, so I'll do the other stuff in a second.
Yep.
The highlighting subsection D, subsection 3. I just wanted to see what the new edit was. I was the one, that's why I'm sitting over here, because I gave that to Hey Tay Tay.
Like the rationale? Yeah, so that was brought up by Garrett, and was recommended to him after we got some complaints in the past couple of years about committee members being blocked. The thought with that is the committee exists to hold our candidates accountable, and so having some step there so that it's not just blocking people so they aren't seeing your media was kind of the rationale.
Perfect, Slayer, I like the verbiage, I yield.
Senator Vega.
Real quick, the question was kind of already answered, but I just want to highlight that Chair Rivera brought up a great point that I had never even thought of, that you can use your personal page that has 10,000 followers versus another one that has 5 followers. But I also like your response, Chief Justice. You can make a page and not even post on it, and that's again something I didn't think about. I just wanted to highlight that this is a very crazy issue, and Hayden, I would also like to be on that legislation that you're writing, but I yield to redundancy after that. Thank you.
Senator Taylor.
I would like to just begin by thanking you both for all the work that you've put into this. I know that that's a lot, and I know that we've had some long meetings and long discussions about this, so thank you, and I appreciate the time you put into this. Emily, I believe we had one additional edit that we wanted to look at, the one that I texted you. Do you want me to say that?
Yeah.
Which section was that in again? Oh, I can find it actually. Gio, it's the one about violations and not getting campaign material approved.
It's gonna be in Article 10, not that much.
Not doing anything material.
It was the lumping of materials.
Oh, the first 3.
It's section 3, subsection C.
Yeah.
Yes. Looking to add a subsection to that. And wait, okay, I didn't know. Looking to add a subsection to that will say, the first instance of failure to get campaign materials approved shall constitute a category 1 violation, comma, even if this instance includes what would otherwise be deemed as multiple violations for a collection of campaign materials in the same category, parentheses, multiple slides of the same post, multiple handbills, etc.
I accept that edit.
Excellent, thank you. I will just add a little bit to the Senate so that you know the context of this. That was something that we discussed a lot. Obviously, I wanted to make the edit of taking down the amount of violations to increase the category of that violation. And the point was brought up by the elections manager of a violation, each violation counts as, or I mean, each, how do I say that? Each, like, section of something would constitute a violation. So if you have a post with like 10 slides up, that would be 10 violations. And so obviously that can escalate quickly and that doesn't seem quite fair. And so this edit is looking to essentially make it so if I post something on day one and I don't get it approved and it has 10 slides on it, that's still just a category 1 violation. And then anything subsequent to that will be following what's outlined above, if that makes sense.
And just to add a little clarity to that, once you get to a category 3 violation, that does involve a campaign suspension. And so if we get up to a category 3 on the first violation, that's obviously setting you back pretty far. So I agree with your edit.
Thank you. Do I still have, is it me?
Yeah.
Oh, I motion to rise out of the committee of the whole.
Is there any dissent to this? No, cool, with that we are risen out of the committee of the whole. With that, we'll move into a period of voting. Chairman Ante,
Motion to approve this bill with unanimous consent.
is there any dissent to using that? No? Is there any dissent to this piece of legislation passing? No, it's passed, congrats. No. Oh, next, yeah, sure, okay.
Thank you so much for putting so much effort. So much, I have lots of stuff.
With that, we will move into Bill 5520, creation of elections committee positions descriptions. The parliamentarian will read the abstract.
Bill 5520, creation of elections committee position description. The creation of the elections committee job description and outline of subsequent responsibilities. You have 10 minutes.
Last time I talked when it was my turn. So as far as I can find, position descriptions have never existed for elections committee, so we're seeking to change that. The concern was brought up during the first reading of elections code about bias, so you will see that that's highlighted throughout, but otherwise it should be a pretty standard position description.
Thank you. With that, we'll now be entering a period of Q&A by first raised placard. Chairman Ante,
Everybody was question.
is there any dissent? Did you say dissent?
No, I said second.
Oh, cool. Key. Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, this will be going to, oh, it's the only one I didn't write down. Internal Affairs and University Affairs.
Hi, everyone. We will now move into Lex 5521, editing the elections timeline, if the parliamentarian will read the abstract.
Lex 5521, editing the elections timeline. This legislation aims to move all election activity into the weeks prior to the start of spring break to ensure ample time for ASCSU's budget, hiring, and training processes. You have 10 minutes.
Sure.
Point of personal privilege, can you zoom in?
Yes.
Howdy y'all. This legislation is pretty comprehensive, as I see it. It does kind of exactly what's outlined in the abstract. It's meant to move all of our election activity prior to spring break, rather than having it be the timeline that we've gone with in years prior. This to better our efficiency both in elections, but also with our efficiency in regards to senators' autonomy over the budget and training. I get that's pretty much what it does.
Cool. With that, we will move into a 10-minute period of Q&A with the first raised placard. Senator Taylor.
I obviously like this idea. I'm an endorsement on the bill, but I did just want to raise a question of the timeline surrounding spring break, because I know that at least in my campaigns, that was something that was beneficial to have to kind of get ahead on classes, get a lot of planning done with the campaign, with not having classes to deal with on top of that. And so what would you say about that change and kind of taking that away?
I think that there's a couple of things on that end. First, with it being pushed to where the beginning of election season would be that first week back, there's still a break right before. Additionally, instead of having a small cohort of people running elections and not having like that spring break or anything, them not having the break of spring break to do that does not negate the fact that everyone in this room, everyone who's elected, is put into an insane sort of position for the rest of the semester that goes through finals, that goes through the rest of the like harder parts of the semester. So I think in terms of cost benefit analysis, it's pretty, I made the 6-7 hands, I apologize. Pete, I just think that the pros outweigh the cons immensely.
That was a good answer, thank you, I yield.
Chairman Ante.
Anyone else on your list?
No.
Alright, motion for your discussion.
Is there any dissent to that? Hearing none, this legislation will be sent to University Affairs.
I would also like to use, can you also do IA, please?
Sure, and Internal Affairs. You can review it, we can't send stuff to you. It's
Not
a Lex,
germane.
it gets tweets.
Oh, okay.
It's a Lex that'll likely need an expedition, is an additional thing. It can be sent to DEI for comments and bring it up in DEI.
Where's my agenda? You're in the meeting. Your name's on the thingy.
Oh. I lost my agenda and then I was lost and confused. But with that, we'll now be moving into resolution 50. We'll be moving into resolution 5523, supporting human gross anatomy lab light repairs.
Resolution 5523, supporting human gross anatomy lab light repairs. This resolution aims to demonstrate ASCSU support for the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences goal to repair the malfunctioning dental lights in the human gross anatomy lab. You have 10 minutes.
Cool, I have a little thing that I'm gonna say about it. So basically the dental lights in the human gross anatomy lab in the anatomy zoology building don't function as they were intended. Like imagine you're at your dentist's office and they shine a light in your mouth and then you get blinded. Those are the kind of lights that they have in the lab, just for a little visual. Basically these lights flicker, they refuse to turn off and have largely become a nuisance to students in the lab. I'm a human anatomy dissection student, so I can attest to how annoying these lights are personally. Imagine you're digging in a lady's chest cavity and you can't see anything. And your grade depends on you picking out these really, really delicate vessels, and if you break one, you lose points for your entire group, and you actually can't see. And then you ask your friend for a headlight, and then they don't give you the headlamp because they can't find it. Wasn't fun. And because human anatomy dissection students spend the most time in lab, out of any students that utilize the anatomy lab, I reached out to my classmates to ask for their input. One of my classmates responded, and I quote, "God, I hate those lights," which I think is pretty representative of how the majority of people who have been in the lab feel. And also all my classmates who responded to the survey I sent out indicated they wanted the lights to be fixed. On top of this, these lights were extremely expensive. The extension to the anatomy zoology building added in 2019 was over $20 million, in which the human gross anatomy lab is housed in. And the dental lights were, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember Dr. Clapp saying $50,000 each, and they don't work. Super cool. Also, when out-of-state students pay around $35,000 a year for tuition alone, it's reasonable to expect a certain level of value out of your education and the facilities utilized for that education. The university should value the upkeep of its facilities, especially when so much money has been poured into these facilities.
And this is also an issue that affects at least some of each senator's constituency. The majority of CSU students take a health-based class at some point during their program, even if pursuing a degree outside of the STEM field, whether as an AUCC or out of personal interest. So that's something to think about as well. That's all I have. Okay.
Okay, with that, we'll now be entering a period of Q&A by first choice Margaret after I'm done talking. Anyone but Hayden.
I wasn't done talking.
Hi, as person on the speakers list, are there people on the speakers list? Okay, yeah, then I'll yield.
Okay, nice. Senator Roberts.
How much are you guys asking for to repair the lights?
No money. None at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I yield.
Cool, Senator Taylor.
What is human gross anatomy?
Oh, God.
So you understand what human anatomy is, yes?
I do.
Yeah, so gross anatomy is like the entirety of, it's all comprehensive anatomy.
Oh,
Yes.
I get, yep. Wow, that was a dumb question. It's
okay.
legal.
No dumb question. It comes from the French definition of gross, meaning large or all-encompassing.
Thank you.
Boy, boy, do I love ASUSU. Senator Leary.
Do you expect UFAB to not approve this?
So we're not submitting a UFAB, thing for this because there's a different project that, the dean is taking priority on. So I forget what it is. But, so we're not submitting a UFAB one, but I think Dr. Clapp is going to be submitting an UTFAB thing. It's just to kind of bring more attention to the issue. A lot of times when like a department head kind of complains about an issue, there's not as much attention brought to it. And it's kind of just like, oh, like, you just want your department to be perfect, don't you? But when you bring it, as a issue from the students, it has a little bit more value. It shows that like the students that are paying to go to this institution are impacted by these malfunctioning facilities, if that makes sense.
Do you?
Yes.
Cool, yeah. With that, Chair Casada-Stoner.
I don't have any questions, I think this is awesome. I motioned to get out of Q&A. And to previous question, I motioned to previous question.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, this piece of legislation will go to University Affairs and DEI. We'll now be moving into our final piece of legislation for the night, Resolution 5524, the addition of campus community reports to the Senate. Ellie, if you could stand back for a second. Did you endorse it?
Did I?
Let's check.
Cool.
I'll do it.
Geo Chairman. Woo.
Oh, nope, I guess I didn't.
Oh, it's not
My
Geo
bad.
Chairman. Lane.
I am not sure. Oh, okay. Go for it.
Resolution 5524, addition of campus community reports to the Senate agenda. This bill amends Article 3, Section 4A of the ASCSU bylaws to add, quote, campus community reports to the Senate agenda directly below, quote, gallery input. This addition allows for a specifically allotted time for any student organization that wishes to share any updates, announcements, or initiatives with the Senate, thereby strengthening the relationship between the broader student body and the representative branch of our student government. You have 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone. For those who do not hello, everyone. For those who do not know me, my name is Esteban Vega. I'm a senator for natural sciences. First of all, thank you all for being here. This bill aims to add, as Gio basically already explained, aims to add to the Senate agenda campus community reports that will allow RSOs as well as senators and associate senators a specific allotted time to report to the Senate any updates, events, or announcements. The reason for this is RSO engagement sometimes uses events to advertise awareness or raise money. And if they have a specific time here at Senate that is marketed correctly, we can help by attending those events or spreading the word through our constituencies. Additionally, it will allow senators whose job it is to represent these students to build a better connection, and as Gio stated as well, it will allow students throughout CSU to have a better connection with the representative branch, which is the legislative branch. Additionally, senators and associates often give oh my gosh, super nervous, as you can probably tell. Senators and associates often give updates and announcements during senator and associate senator reports, which addresses things like RSOs and things like that, which is actually not the correct use of this time. With the addition of this report to the Senate agenda, we can focus on actual Senate business during senator and associate senator reports. This bill will not do any good without marketing, which is actually one of the therefore clauses, I believe, and which is why we have asked RSO Affairs Director Natalie Fontenot, I believe I'm saying that correctly, to help market this legislation in her bi-weekly newsletter. And so yeah, that's pretty much all this legislation does, and I yield.
With that, we will move into a period of Q&A with the first raised placard. Chairman Onti.
All right, motion the previous question. If there's no questions, okay, there are questions, and in that case, I will yield.
Senator Eddington.
Why couldn't they just do this during gallery input?
That's a really good question. So this will allow for, again, kind of just circling back, I'm sorry, I'm just really tired. This allows registered student organizations to actually have a place here in the Senate agenda, which they did not have before. And yes, gallery input is essentially their way of speaking to us. But now they will feel, I truly believe that this will allow them to feel comfortable in the space and allow them to give the report in a time that they know is specifically allotted for them, not just anyone on the campus.
Following up on that, I think gallery input also has, as we've seen, also historically the potential to be a lot more than just advertising events. And I think if we separate those, it makes things a lot more easier. Say for instance, a couple weeks ago actually, we had a couple of students come in here talking about, I don't remember at the time what it was, but it was a much more serious topic and a much more heavy topic. This is not okay. Meanwhile, at the same time, we were actually trying to advertise for a position that opened for LSU governing board that we wanted to bring up here because I don't know, it just made sense. But I didn't advertise it because it just didn't seem appropriate to do that at the same time when there's like heavy topics going on. And also I think gallery input is much more for wider community members versus like RSOs. And we kind of like set that precedence of like working directly with RSOs, not only with Natalie's position, but also our deep connection through BSOF. So I hope that answers where I was getting at.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Taylor.
This legislation is only an amendment to the Senate bylaws, isn't it?
That is correct.
Yes. Then, do you know that the president does not need to sign off on amendments to the Senate bylaws?
I did actually know that. I apologize, Brooke told me that, and we never changed it, obviously.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
so would you take out that second therefore clause?
You can do that.
Yes. Can we change that to?
In committee.
In committee,
It's
that's
easier
right.
that way.
Okay, awesome. Yes, we will change that.
Thank you, I yield.
Thank you.
Associate Senator Leary.
Is there a reason the RSO liaison is just not endorsing or sponsoring?
Yes, that was my fault. I added the 6 weeks that I had to write this legislation, completely forgot to ask her. That is actually one of the edits we plan to make in committee.
And what, so are you, for context, I'm officer for RSO, so I'm co-president of the Zero Waste team, and then I'm also a JDI officer for Minority Standards and Natural Resources. Have you talked to officers of RSOs that are not necessarily, sorry, my auditory processing is sort of struggling right now.
That's right.
Have you talked to officers that are not in the Senate that might, are there people that want to come make reports, is one of those?
To be frank, no, I have not. This is just an idea that President Jakai Nunley and I had, and this is just something I wanted to implement, so no, I did not.
Okay. can I say that I would like to see that even when we're in Q&A?
I think you just did, so, no, you're good.
Okay, I yield.
It's a long night. Chair Rivera.
I think I got clarification on it, so I'll just yield or I'll come and talk to you after, yeah, I yield.
Any other questions? No? With that, this resolution will be sent to IA and DEI. Senator Taylor. Good job.
Thank you. I motion to use beginning roll calls ending and add everybody who came late.
Is there any dissent to that? With that, we adjourn. Have a good night.
But I won't be able to make it at DEI. I won't be able to make it to DEI. But I also really want that elections bill to be seen by it. Mostly because I do feel like this is a thing that
Yeah. If you can send your thoughts along.